Right. How is that one going? We're doing our alien radio signal hunt tonight. I just want to check. We're on the new setup tonight, so I want to make sure that it is working. Oh, there you go. Is it all coming through? It looks like it's coming through there as well. See if it's going to come through there. Oh. We might have to... The system's getting a bit congested. How you doing, Harko? Good to see you in. Right, let's turn some of these things off, shall we? Let's turn these ones on. So, there we go. Right. If you are joining us tonight, guys, we are doing our live alien radio signal hunt. We are searching what is called the hydrogen line, and that is the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET is out there, this is where they'd put the message, hello, is anybody else out there? It is where the wow signal was heard back in the 1970s, but many more anomalous radio signals have been detected right here since then. So do buckle up, settle in for the night there, and as the Earth rotates, our dish is going to sweep across the night sky, passing over various stars and their planets. Hopefully we're going to get lucky and detect a message coming through clearly on the meters there. Colin, how are you doing? We are full in a radio search mode. We've got to, we're tweaking some of the inputs and stuff at the minute. It's the new setup. But hopefully it's all going to work well. So guys, if you're joining us, say hello and let us know where you're watching from. Ask any questions, maybe what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it there, or if you've had an experience with the phenomena yourself, we'd love to hear about that. But sit still and join us for our alien radio signal hunt there, kind of like the film Contact, listening out on the hydrogen line there, hoping to hear a message from an extraterrestrial civilization. Carl, how are you doing today there? Thank you for the gift, appreciate that. All goes back into the stream. Brian, would it just be easier for the aliens to jump in this chat and say hi there? They may have a bit of primitive technology laying around. You never know, they might dust something off in the museum. But if we could talk to aliens, what would we say? Would our experience of the universe be so totally different that we might not have anything in common? Maybe. I mean, the first thing for us is getting the message. The second would be understanding it. Again, that second part, unlikely that even the best scientists would really have a go there unless it was very basic maths there. And Colin there, looks like the music creation is a waveform. It is. It's all of that, isn't it? It's all waves there. It is sound. Very, very similar to all of that there. How you doing, Amanda, as well there? That is a good spike on the line. It actually is. So a very acute watching there. Actually right on the line where we would expect it. Where's my cursor? See, look, we are getting some slight ridges there. Oh, is that frozen at the top there? Very interesting. So a new setup, so we're trying to figure out what... Oh, there you go. It's caught up again. Figuring out what's going on with it. Oh, look, actually, look, just as you were saying that, Carl, it's just flashing up there, showing that that signal is getting a little bit stronger. Now, it's very thin. So, again, unlikely to be aliens unless that gets a bit thicker. But I don't know, Carl, actually. That might be the closest that we've come there. And you spotted it first. Where are we in the chat? And I'll start by saying humanity is not as bad as it looks like. It's like, lads, I know what it looks like, but hear me out first. As well then. Harko, how are you doing? Good to see you there. And UK Starlight there, ghost of an alien seen in London, flying with teapots there. How very English of the alien there. It's blending in with the culture. Where was that one? Oh, it was London. But where did you hear that one, UK? I'd like to hear more on that one there. Haggis is in. How are you doing there? First contact imminent. Hopefully. Very soon. Does feel like it at the time. So guys, if you are just joining us to say, we're doing our live alien radio signal hunt there. We're searching on what is called the hydrogen line. That is the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET is out there, this is where they'd put the message. It is where the infamous wow signal was detected and many more alien, so I should say anomalous signals that could potentially be alien in nature. In fact, some from our closest stellar neighbors there. And got your t-shirt and order there, Carl. I did see it popped up and thank you for that. So all goes back into the stream there. Look, got a Signal Hunter one on tonight there. We'll be able to get you. Need a picture of you in it when it arrives, Carl. We'll put it in the the merch showcase section on the Discord there, and we can bring it up on a screen there to show it all off there. And was Astro Hunting there? You're listening on 1420, the neutral hydrogen line there. And what's the antenna they're using? So it's a parabolic mesh antenna. It's something a bit bigger than my hands, not sure how wide that is, but it's tuned, the receiver is tuned for the hydrogen line. And we have got some various amplifiers and filters in the signal chain there, hopefully helping us, giving us a better chance of detecting a signal. Now, the nature of this sort of stuff is the bigger the dish, the fainter the signal that you can potentially pick up. Now, we sadly obviously don't have a Jodrell Bank or a Green Bank radio telescope size dish, but we are very much still in the running, so to speak, there. We can, if a signal is strong enough, we can still potentially hear it there. So we are looking out for a nice ridge. Basically, if you're on the YouTube, you'll see this, but TikTok, you guys are getting the duff end. You're getting the middle of the screen there, so it's worth checking out on YouTube at The Thing UFO. In fact, I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like that over on YouTube there. You see, look, all of the different analysis going on there. You see more of the screen, but it is that ridge in the left, middle left. We want to see something like that one. Ideally, there. And I thank you for the gifts. All the gifts, sub patrons, all goes back into stream there. And have you seen the videos circulating now? I haven't. I don't spend a lot of time over on TikTok, so I have to wait for it to come over on YouTube. TikTok's too addictive for me. We broadcast here, but I can't hang around on there because otherwise, that's it. That's my whole evening gone. I did see one of the image, but I haven't seen the videos yet. And oi, how are you doing there? And definitely Carl, looking forward to it there. And Carl there, thank you for feeding Alan.
Nom nom nom. Thanks, guys.
Alan, that's a bit loud. There we go. Human Palladians are here. That's what you said, yeah. And Mike as well. They are real, but can't come near Earth either way because they don't even see us yet. They see thousands, hold on, where is it? Of light years away there when we wasn't even born there. So this is the thing, isn't it, there? Because of relativity, you know, they're not gonna see us here light away. So people talk about in films, don't they? You see this one trope a lot there. Oh, Carl, Blue Nose, I just noticed the cowboy hat there. Thank you, Blue Nose. It's been a while since I've seen that one. Thank you, and how are you doing, Captain? So yeah, basically you see the idea that they're going to pick up Hitler's address at the Olympic Games, isn't it there? And that is technically true. But if that was, is it 36 or something like that? And we're 90 years ago-ish that happened. That was transmitted and broadcast out there. So that signal is only 90 light years away. Now, there are other stars close enough by. Our closest stellar neighbour is Proxima Centauri, about 4.2 or 4.6 light years away. So there are definitely stars that would have, in theory, had that signal reach them. But television signals are not that strong. They need an incredibly large dish to still be able to pick it up there. So there is definitely chances that alien life could detect our signals there. But you do have to take into the time the distance there. But Earth has been screaming biological life for a very, very long time, about 2 billion years. So if an alien species has the equipment that we've got now, any time in the last 2 billion years, they'd know that there's life on Earth, but they wouldn't know that it is technological unless they were really able to, over the last 100 years or so, therefore, radio communications, if they're within that 100 light years bracket there, or when was the Industrial Revolution and the CFC gases, so maybe 150 years, something like that, if they had the telescopes and can detect our atmosphere. So that is the sort of threshold that they will know that we're technological. It's a very, very good point there. And it's not true. What Haggis, what bit was that there? And Astro there, do you use it also, the hydrogen line? So yeah, we are on the hydrogen line right now. And that is all that we're doing, really. So we're listening out for on the hydrogen line there, the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET is out there, this is where they would put that message. Hello, is anybody else out there? Again, it is where the WOW signals heard, but many, many more anomalous signals in the past there. So it is too cloudy for us to get the camera out. Marcus, thank you for the gifts. Appreciate that. It's too cloudy at the moment to get the camera out. But we can all get together tonight and we can listen out, kind of like in the film Contact. They're only a film, where they're listening out for those potential alien radio signals there. So do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from tonight there. Carl coming in with the gifts there. I'll get into your message there. Blue Nose, how is your week going there? And averaging the signal. So no, we're not doing that at the minute. What's happening on the top section is just the live signals are coming in there. So we're not doing anything extra, although it is lagging tonight. So we've got a new setup. And I'm noticing some bugs in it, so I'll have to deal with that one after the stream. But yeah, so the top section, in fact, let me get over here. So yeah, you guys, so this bit here, even on the TikTok, you'll see this. This is when it wants to not jump. Come on. It's lagging a bit there, so I'm going to have to solve that one. But yeah, so this is basically the live radio signals coming in when it's not freezing. They're coming in. So we're not doing anything other than amplifying and just filtering, so we have a best chance of hearing a signal coming in there. And this section here is basically mimicking that, but this section here is averaging the signal there. So this bit here is basically the same data as above, but displaying it as averages. So you got it right there. And therefore we can see patterns, trends on all the things there that we might otherwise miss there. Behind me, you guys can't see it on TikTok, but it's a live sky map. And then there's a dish. So you see where our dish is pointed, and as the night sky moves on, you'll see again what what close-ish by stars are potentially in a range there. Where are we there? And humans prepare for contact there. And do you have the filter? Yes, we do. We got the Sawbird H1, so it's a low noise amplifier and filter in one there. And Dan, 2 million or 2 billion. Which one was that for, Dan? Lots of things out there. What do you mean camera source obstructed? Stop it. Bloody things. New setup, always bugs there. And was it the Wayne there as well? There, the Fermi paradox. If they are, where are they there? And if they are no aliens, it's just scary. So this is the thing, isn't it? It's called the Fermi paradox there. Very credible scientists there basically made an off-the-cuff observation, which was, look, if there are aliens out there, where the hell are they? Surely we should be seeing them. My favourite answer to that is that we're not really looking. Like, we tend to overestimate our ability as humans to monitor it, but the reality is we do not have a good understanding of what's going on locally in our solar system. We miss all these comets and asteroids passing right by Earth until the last second there. But in radio as well now, we are actually getting a lot of signals. There is a lot of evidence out there that the actual galaxy, if not the universe, is alive, teeming with life. But no singular bit of evidence is enough on of its own there to be repeatable, you know, with the technology that we have to confirm it 100%. So there's lots and lots of contextual evidence around there, but no one piece is enough to push it over the line. But there are loads of these anomalous radio signals that science just cannot explain away. Appears to be coming from very close by stars indeed, but that's just the radio stuff. There's stuff in light, there's potential lasers, let alone what people report there. But the idea that if we are alone, that is just as scary as it being absolutely populated with a life as well. They're out there, but cloaked and currently in orbit. Possibility, isn't it? There, Mark as well. Thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from there? And do you observe? Oh, the Milky Way and the pulsar. So, Astro, no. So I don't at the minute, mainly because our dish is fixed and it's a pain in the ass to move it. I do want to have a play around with that sort of stuff, but again, I'm not very good at that. I can barely just about manage this one there. Blue Nose and Marcus coming in with the gifts. Thank you for all those guys. All the gifts, the subs, the members, super chats, all that jazz helps us improve what we're doing there. All goes back into the stream. In fact, this is now, what you're seeing there, this is now available on our website all of the time, so even if we're not streaming, and you fancy doing a bit of alien radio hunting yourself, you will be able to get access to that as well. And Oi there, and Jodrell Bank wasn't just a Lovell telescope there, it was a Cold War spy station used by the CIA. So Oi, you're bang on the money with that. And there is a thing, any of these expensive scientific projects, there's always a military application. That's how they get the money. The space shuttle was the same there. Even the Arecibo dish was the same as well. So, you know, if there's some, you know, big scientific project there, it is normally, again, because of there is some military application for it as well. Loving the stickers there, Carl. And Josette Jardiman as well. Thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from there? And Print Farm, how are you doing there? Hey, I did message you today. I will check it out. I'm a bit behind my messages. Got a lot catching up to do, but I will check it out, Print Farm. And Wayne there, what do you think about the files the US have released supposedly admitting certain things about them? So, honestly, I don't know. The first two, I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. They've got to start off low. They've got to ease everybody in. But the official recognition, the tone, I thought this is fine. As long as they keep a little bit more. And we still are possibly on that track. Having a little bit of a sulk there. Sorry guys, TikTok is having a bit of a sulk there, but yeah. So with the what do you call it there? The releases, I was actually reasonably, you know, okay with this, but this latest drop kind of threw me off a bit there. I'm not quite sure what to make. If they continue on and we get more and more, then actually I'll be okay, but I am a little bit nervous with that. And we're not alone there. We've never been alone, and they never left. That is very, very possible there. In fact, a lot of you know, just the general ufology community there, that wasn't a part of it that I wasn't aware of before. But you know, it does seem to be the true. Whatever it is has been here for a very, very, very long time. And Astro there, what do you think about Voyager 1 malfunctioning there? Was it malfunctioning or a real signal? Oh, I've not heard about this one. I want to hear more on that one. I know that Voyager 1 is, you know, is constantly playing up, we should say, because it's getting old and having to turn off bits of equipment, aren't they? There, Paul, how are we doing? It's a pool of members. How are you doing? Thank you for gifting the membership over there. Appreciate that. Still goes back into stream. And Living Light, well, hey, you got the membership. Yeah, join us on our deep dives for that one. We'll be back over to the TikTok chat the YouTube chat very shortly. I'm just finishing up here over on the TikTok one there. And how are we doing there? Is that X in? I can't see my screen. It's gone so small now. Oh no, it's Shaker there. How are we doing? Good to see you in there. And Rosa there. I am so done there. Just show us the aliens. I think a lot of our community do feel that way. They really, really do. And you know what? I do feel that way a little bit myself. But we have to remember, don't we, that it's not just us. A lot of us have spent a lot of time into this. We've looked every which way. We are ready. We want to see the Roswell bodies. But they do have to be a bit careful because it's not just us there. If they were to just go, all right, lads, you got us. Here we go. Here's the old alien there with his guts hanging out. That would probably traumatize a lot of society, and ultimately I think they would get used to it. But what that would mean is that if you shock the hell out of your bus driver, you ain't getting to work, and neither's that doctor or that nurse, and society can very easily start to trip over itself. I don't think it'd be catastrophic, but I think that's if I'm being generous, and if I'm being generous here, that's what I think they were doing with the slow release. So we'll have to see. Maybe I'm just being too kind to them there. And Dan Bluebeam, alien invasion is planned for Scotland and Brazil game there. 80 Alliance on the pitch. I've heard about that. It's a claim that we'll be able to verify soon. What day is that one meant to be playing there? DJ, how are you doing? Good to see you in there. And Rosa there, thank you for the follow. Guys, if you're new here, do say hello and let us know where you're watching from there. Ben too, good to see you in. Right, I'm going to bounce back over to the YouTubes there. Where did we get to here? Use the 20 decibel small preamp there. So we have got one on there. I need to move it around though. Did you see the other guy with the scanning 4020 dish? No, was that is that Save It for Parts, the YouTube guy? Because I saw the picture, but I didn't have time. I was on the train. Was that him with it there? Because I'll go back and look at that. I do like him. He plays around all of there. Living Light, how are you doing there? And Brian there, I feel like TikTok brainwashes me. I do feel a bit similarly there. It's so good at showing you stuff though. Like you just get locked into it. And I mean, there's good points to that, but you know, obviously there's bad points. I have no self-control, so it's dangerous for me there. And Dan, how are you doing there? It is very cloudy on this end. You called it right. Hopefully though, this week is going to clear up nicely and get a few more sky watches in. So guys, if you are just joining us, we're doing our live alien radio signal hunt tonight, and we're searching on a frequency called the hydrogen line, and that is the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET is out there, this is where they'd put the message, hello, is anybody else out there? It is where the wow signal was heard back in the 1970s, but many, many more since then. Do make sure you're following us or subscribed, whatever it is, wherever you are, because we do this pretty much every night, unless there's a technical issue. If it's a clear sky, though, we do a UFO, UAP skywatch. That's what it looks like. We see all sorts of weird and wonderful things in the night sky here, because we are based right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge. Lots of weird stuff here. If the moon is up and I can be bothered, we do a moon watch, and that's what that looks like. The moon up close looks cool. Looking out for strange stuff there. So if you're following, subscribe, you should get a notification when we go live there. Friend is in. It's good to see. And Paul, I'm getting to you now there. How are you doing? Good to see you there. Have you been up to much fun things there? And Raf is in. That's very polite for you, Raf. Why are you on your best behaviour there? We are a family. We really are. I absolutely love our little community. I was setting up the computer. We eventually got, as you can see, the streaming computer back yesterday, and it just took me all bloody evening. I was up until like 1 a.m. trying to get it all working. Bit of a pain there. Oh, you're real. You're real there. Oh, we'll send Kate over when she's here there. And Raf, oh, you actually prefer the zero. What's that one though there? Oops, but good to see you there. Can't be asked. Can't be asked to be offensive. There, where are we in here? Tick Tick, how are you doing there? DJ as well there, and Ben, thank you for all the gifts there and for feeding Alan.
Nom nom nom, thanks guys.
It all goes back into the stream there, help us improve on what we're doing here. The Palladians, yep. And posting the little DJ, that's very, very kind of you. Saturday. Thank you, DJ. Very, very kind. I'll make sure to not open it until we're on stream there. Tick Tick, how are you there? And Print Fam coming in with the shares. Guys, it is the likes, the shares. You guys tapping away, all of that jazz. That helps us reach more and more like-minded people there, like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds we get on the old phenomena, the better. So the more we can all piece this puzzle together there. My favourite bit is when you come in and you share your experiences with the phenomena. I love that one. That is a thing that has changed my understanding of what is going on the most, is hearing your individual experiences and knowledge around it all there. So do say hello. So let us know where you're watching from there tonight. But also buckle up. We're looking or listening out for potential alien radio signals coming in from deep amongst the stars. Now, a lot of you guys have heard about the WOW signal, and quite rightly so. It's a phenomenal candidate signal heard back in the late 1970s, but it is not the only one. In fact, there are a surprising amount of similar sounding ones that appear to be coming from close-ish by stars. Now, at the minute, what have we got in range tonight there? Oh, we've got that one I can't pronounce, Zune, I call it, but it's not. It's got a B in there. So that is, what, 77 light years away from us? Not too far. Not too far. Down the end of the street, so to speak, in space terms. Wouldn't want to walk it, but not far indeed. Now, the closer they are, the better, because the higher the chance that we have of detecting a signal from a planet in orbit around one of those stars. There would be less energy required for a signal to be reached, to reach us here. Essentially, it would not, so we can, in theory, detect fainter and fainter signals. Harco, thank you for the gift there as well. Or actually prefer the tube layout there, Rachel. I do as well. I do as well. So TikTokers at the Thing UFO, check us out on the tubes. Again, it looks a lot better. This is what it looks like. You're missing out. There's all sorts of extra analysis going on the screen there as well. Less of my face. So it is definitely worth checking us out over there. It is definitely the cool kids. And John there, evening there, I was just watching the YouTube channel Star Talk, and it was on an interview with Spielberg and how he believes in aliens. It's very interesting. Honestly, that has been some of the most interesting parts coming out about his latest film, is his interview saying, that he is fully convinced. Maybe he's got the inside track, isn't it there? Where do we get to over here as well? So, what's that? Love humans. Oh, thank you there, Haggis, for sending the love there. And Astro there, after when it passed the heliopause, it has sent some signals that aren't making sense there. I've heard a few confusing ones. So that is probably degrading the technology, but you never know. Maybe it's had some interaction with other things, but I would probably default to just 1970s technology and being surprised that it still works. So that's Voyager 1 sending strange signals. But thank you for that, Astro, because I hadn't heard, but you never, I know they did have some issue, didn't they, with the programming side of it. DJ as well, they're coming in with the shares, and Cowboy there, where are they? Exactly, they may well be here. There are lots of reports that they have been here for a very, very long time, maybe just as long as us. Now, are they here with us, or are they visiting? There is a... We are... hello, Earthlings there, Harco. We are, aren't we... often talking about extraterrestrials, the idea of life from another planet, but there is this theory called ultra-terrestrials, so from this planet, but maybe they intelligence that's just living in the ocean. Maybe they're a pre-existing civilization that buggered off, went away and has come back now. I mean, the Earth has been habitable for long before modern humans have all around modern day civilizations there. So there's been plenty of time for that sort of thing to happen. There are lots of interesting theories. It's not just the old-fashioned nuts and bolts and little green men coming in metal spaceships from other planets. There is a whole extra range to this there. And Astra from Rotterdam, good to have you in there. And Print Farm coming in with the shares. Appreciate those guys. So you never know who is going to come in and tell us their amazing experiences or knowledge on the subject as well. That is my favourite bit, hearing you there, so we do appreciate you guys liking, sharing, tapping away, helping us build up the little community. Where did we get to there? Oh, Rachel, good evening. Can't stay long. There I have the rest clinic for an examination. I bet you are, Rachel, but positive vibes, and I'm sure it's all going to be a good for you there. So don't stay up too late. Get some rest for that, because it's always a tiresome experience, isn't it, doing any things like that. And where are we down there? No, we are up to date over on the tubes, and we're up to date on the Twitter. What, guys? You're slacking. I'm you're letting me catch up, guys. Where is? Let me have a look. See, where is Docs? Want to have a look? Is that one? That's not. I'm looking at all of this new setup here. I need to make sure I've got everything up here. Okay, ignore that. Ignore that. Getting used to all of the new buttons tonight there. So, what's happening tonight there, Astro? How are you doing? So, that's what I thought. So, you've got Astro Hunting and Astro Gazer in the chat. Fight! Who gets to keep the name Astro? So tonight, guys, we are doing our alien radio signal hunt there. We are searching on what is called the hydrogen line. That is the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET is out there, this is where they'd put the message, hello, is anybody else out there? This line going all the way up to the top of the screen there. Every time I bring my mouse over, it freezes the bloody thing. So I'll bring it back now. But this area around here is the zone of interest. That is the channel on the radio dial where, said scientists theorize, that if ET is out there, that's where they are most likely to put the message, hello, is anybody else out there? Oh, it keeps freezing. Bloody thing. So yeah, that is what we are doing tonight. Listening out, hoping to hear ET say hello. But a recent paper speculated actually we probably wouldn't be hearing ET say hello first. In fact, we have a higher chance of detecting a... This is just having a bit of a joke now. Hold on, guys. Let me... Come on. Loady. Oh, there we go. It's getting a bit frozen. But yeah, it wouldn't be necessarily ET saying hello would be the first message. In fact, a civilization would be most likely to send a message because it can take a hell of a lot of energy. So they're going to be most likely, most motivated to put in all of the energy they can for the longest period they can if they are in trouble. Maybe it is their last, it's their farewell, it's their goodbye. Maybe they're reaching out for help. But yeah, that is when they're going to be most likely to invest the resources. So us as a species, we sent a message once, and that was in the early 1970s. So, you know, and it was very brief there. It did not take long to transmit there. So a blip. So if we are to get a signal coming in, if it doesn't keep freezing, there, then yeah, it is going to be most likely, as I say, probably not a hello. Not that we would necessarily have a chance of decoding it there as well. But in particular, we are really listening out for a particular type of message. This isn't ET talking to ET. It's not their interstellar delivery order or anything like that. No, this is that purposeful message, you know, when they're choosing to put in a lot of resources to send out a transmission, not knowing who is going to be listening there. And that is why the hydrogen line, the channel on the dial where we are searching tonight, is important there. This, out of all the different frequencies or channels there, this one is the most likely to harbour that message because it is always going to be monitored. It's very useful for radio science there. For learning about the universe, it gives a scientist a baseline, and if our scientists know this, ET scientists would as well. And radio being a reasonably accessible technology, therefore, out in the universe, if you don't know who's listening, the most likely place that they're going to be monitoring is in radio, and is right here to the best of our understandings. And again, it's where we have detected anomalous signals in the past. So do make sure, guys, you're keeping attention on that. But if we get a signal in, again, they're quite rare, but they do happen. But if we do get a signal, it will only be on screen for between 30 to 90 seconds. That is how long, you know, with the Earth's rotation, because you imagine if we're moving, that dish is sweeping across the night sky, with the Earth's rotation there, that sort of speed, that is how long we'll only be over the target for there. So we'll see it just come up and then come down 30 to 90 seconds later there, depending on the distance there. And if the universe is truly infinite there, the probability that we are alone is mathematically zero. Astro 100% with that one. In fact, mainstream science community now is actually on board with life being abundant out there. The reason that they were skeptical, they go, oh, we don't know if aliens are out there at all, was because we didn't know if there were other planets around the other stars we see in the night sky. We didn't know if we were special. But now we are detecting more and more and more. It looks like there's planets bloody everywhere around these stars. So just statistically, it's a numbers game that life is going to be everywhere. Now, they won't quite say intelligent life or complex or civilizations, but, you know, again, it's a numbers game, and the early indications of being able to scan the atmospheres of these distant planets, we're only just about got the technology to start to have a look. It's looking like there are biosigns there. You know, gases, as far as we know, could only be made by life, are starting to be hinted at being detected. So it's an exciting time, but I think life is going to be absolutely abundant out there. Why would we be special? Unless we've got a good reason to think that we are special. Why would it be the case? We can look to how life propagates on Earth. There is a species, an organism for every niche, every environment there. So honestly, you know, why would the universe be any different? Even within our solar system there, Mars has currently got microbial life there. You know, NASA, they detected it in the 70s there, but they're playing their shenanigans, but they definitely detected it. And even the clouds of Venus are looking like a possible one there. In my opinion, how are you doing? And I've been astro hunting for 34 years. That is a very, very long time there. What is the best thing there, astro hunting? What is the best thing that you have come across in the scientific world as well there? It doesn't necessarily have to be aliens there. We do like a little bit of space there. You think you even follow him there? Well, it's good to have you all in there. And what gear are we using tonight? So, big dish, parabolic mesh antenna, can't remember the measurement on it there, but it is tuned for this frequency range there, coming in by low noise amplifiers filters are there into you know, the SDR, and then we're seeing it on the screen being analysed by various bits of software. So guys, it is worth it. If you're on the TikTok, have a look over on the tubes. That's what it looks like. There is so much more analysis going on the screen, but you're just seeing that middle sliver because of the vertical format. So At the Thing UFO, definitely worth checking out over there. Kate, how are you doing there? My opinion, thank you for the gifts. Gifts, subs, Patreons, members, all that jazz does go back into the stream. Help us improve on what we are doing there. And by the way, what software is it there? RTLSDR. So it is, yeah, it's an RTL, well, it's the Neuralink RTL one there. And the software at the top is just, if let me get my cursor on it, I'll probably freeze it again. But this top one, that is just SDR++ coming in. That is just the live signals coming in here. My mouse freezes it. But this lower section here, this is what we're building ourselves. This is all our own stuff. Now, go definitely check it out on YouTube because there's so much more going on. So obviously we've got the main analysis section. We've also got the audio waveform coming in. We've got the live sky map showing where a dish is pointed and all sorts of other things going on. I think it looks much, much better over on there as well. Are you using any filters for the signal? Mostly get it for, yes, so we've got, I think it's a Sawbird H1 or something in the line there, which is hopefully doing some job there. And doing all right there, had a new toy delivered today. They're ahead of schedule. Kate, exciting times ahead. And I've got a development with, you know, always technical improvements there, Kate. And so if you do want to, you know, clip, I've managed to figure out how we can come up with suggestions, or, you know, and timestamps, so it's not, doesn't take as long to go through and find the good bits. If that's something you're interested with, I can show you how to access all of those. Right, bouncing back over to the tubes. I'm across two chats tonight, guys, so bear with us there. It might take me a second to come in to get to your message. Where are we down there? Ads. I know, they are set to the minimum, though. And where are we? Let's have a look down here. Where are we there? And thanks for explaining there what's on the screen there. I wasn't sure what was going on there, John. Hey, it's a good question. And if you're curious, other people will be curious as well. So yeah, we've got basically what we've got on the screen. The top bit, that is all the live signals coming in across all of the different frequencies there when it's not frozen. The bit below it is basically the same as that, but it's showing it on averages. Rather than the dynamic peaks and troughs, it's just averages it out, and therefore we can see patterns and trends a little bit easier there. Things that we otherwise might have missed there. That red box is called micro signal analysis, and all that is doing is it's looking at the background levels there. So the main ridge that you're seeing there, that is the background noise of the universe there. That is the cosmic microwave background. And if I shut up, so yeah, that cosmic microwave background there, the sounds are just after the Big Bang apparently. Same as the static on your TV or when you're tuning in stations there. So any signal that is potentially travelling these distances that may have a chance of reaching us, it has to be louder than that, or we're not going to see it. It's not going to pick up over the top. We're not going to hear that sound. We'll just hear the static still. So that red box is analysing in the section that we're interested there, analysing that background noise, looking for any little clue. Is there any sort of pattern, repetition there, anything that can point to there being something technological in amongst all of that noise? Now, we wouldn't have the technology to pull that signal out of it magically, sadly, but it could give us an indicator that there could be something going along. But yeah, we've also got so the main sky map, which is behind my box here now, that is showing you what stars or close-ish by stars are in the night sky, directly in range of our dish there. And as the night moves on, those stars move across. You can see what is coming up. We've got a few on the horizon there. You've got the actual waveform analysis, that red wiggly line. Again, you TikTokers, you can't see it at the minute. It's over on the tube to get the full horizontal version. But that red line, we want to look like the green line essentially. That is the signal coming in, or the sound, or the frequency that you're hearing there. And where are we as well? Down there. Oh yeah, and then those stars that are in range of our dish in that catchment area there, you can see in the middle right, it is showing you the information that we do have on those stars. Not much at the minute there, but solar flare, solar wind speed, geomagnetic index, all that stuff, it can technically affect radio signals. So we have all those monitored all the way around as well are there. So yeah, listing out, hoping to hear potential alien radio signals tonight. Kind of like the film Contact, hoping to just any second see that big spike up on the screen. They are rare, but the more we do it, the more chance that we do have of detecting something coming through, because it's not just right place, not just pointing our dish at the star that has a planet that has life. It's also got to be a right time. When is that civilization choosing to send this message? They are very unlikely to have the transmitter switched on the whole time, just because of how much energy it's going to take there. Raf, it's not all bollocks. It helps. It's all aids for it there. And it's that Juggers, how are you doing? Could see you there. And if a life is possible here on Earth, then why not anywhere else? Exactly, Rachel. That should be our starting point. That, to me, is the logical default. You know, not the well until we see it. That just seems to be working backwards to me. And John, going down there, having a chat. Where did we get to? And hey up, how are you doing there? Gaza too. And Gandalf, good to see you in there as well. Where are we going to? I could fall asleep to that noise. Some people absolutely hate it. I've got to work on it. It's a bit quiet. It's a little bit tinny. Again, new setup tonight, and it's really, bug. There's a few bugs I've got to work out with it there. And it's not. It's all essential to help us there. All right, I'm going to bounce back over to the TikTok guys. But guys, if you are just joining us, we are doing our live alien radio signal hunt tonight there. We're searching the hydrogen line, the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET is out there, this is where they'd put that message. Hello, is anybody else out there? It is where the WOW signal has been heard and many other signals in the past. Lots of activity here, right where we would expect it. So do say hello. Let us know where you're all joining from tonight there. And Astro Hunting, thank you for the gifts there. Claire as well, and Adam as well coming in there feeding Alan.
Nom nom nom, thanks guys.
Thank you for those guys. That it all goes back into the stream there, helping us improve what we do, including merch as well. All goes straight back in. We're saving up to take the show on the road at the minute. I wonder if my little advert button's going to work. Is that going to work? No, it's frozen tonight. Okay, another bug. There you go. There's me in a various selection of our t-shirts available there. A few little bugs. But yeah, all goes back in to the stream. Where did we get to over on the TikTok chat? Oh, Astro, that I'm building a little interferometry dish for the hydrogen light SDR plus IF average. Oh, I'd like to see that one. You have to tag us in some pictures there, Astro. I'd love to hear those ones. So 2 antennas for 1420. Extra kit. I like the sound of that. My knowledge of their radio is so limited, though. I'm literally blundering my way through, improving as we go. But the radio is just such an interesting phenomenon. I mean, most people think of radio, don't we, as a man-made technology, and we have adapted it for use as technology. But it is a natural property of the universe. It is, in fact, the language of the universe. The galaxy screams in radio, and we do have to then consider that. We have to potentially filter out those organic radio signals as we're doing our hunting there. As we said, like that background noise, that line that you're seeing across the screen at the minute there, that is the cosmic microwave background there, the sounds of the early universe, natural radio signal. It's not just the man-made ones. But part of the interesting point about searching down here, because a lot of people talk about 1.6 gigahertz there, and we're at 1.420. 1.6 has a little bit of a reputation in the UFO world of being correlated with UFO sightings. Maybe there is some form of their technology or a byproduct of their technology that is causing these signals on 1.6. We haven't figured out a way to do that ourselves yet. Now, obviously, this kit can go a little bit higher up there and monitor it, but 1.6 is used also for, I think, satellite to ground communication. All of our radio band there, you think of all the channels laid out in a row, they're all chopped up for various purposes. You think of your radio stations you'll listen to when you're driving there, or the phone signals there, that gets a bit of the band. Military and aircraft, they've got their own bands as well. The 1.4 where we're at now, this area is actually, I think, the only one. There might be others, but I do think this is going to be the only one, that is reserved for listening only. Nobody is allowed to transmit on this by international treaties. They're not allowed to make your Wi-Fi routers on this frequency or anything like that, because it's so useful for radio astronomy, for learning about the universe. It is a listening only channel there. So therefore, if we do get a nice clear signal, it does help us then filter out the potential man-made from these things as well. So that is one of the criteria there. It helps us aid in our hunt there. And Adam, I've seen you picked up things in the video there, but have you caught anything suspicious in these signals there, Adam? Sadly not. I've got to be honest there, these are much rarer now. When we're doing our UFO sky watches, just like that, we see lots of strange and wonderful things in the night sky, because of where we're based, right in the heart of crop circle country. But when we're doing the signals, they are much, much rarer. Now, as technology moves on, these signals are becoming less rare, but they're still, we still have to do it. We have to put in the hours, we have to scan the same patch of sky again and again and again, trying to catch the time, when ET is choosing to send that message, because they're unlikely to have the transmitter on the whole damn time. Hell of a lot of resources for that. So it's right place and right time. It used to be a case that once every few decades there would be one of these anomalous signals that science could not explain away. But as it's gone on, it's kind of got to be every decade and then every few years. And now we're getting reports left, right and centre of anomalies. I think even the old SETI organisation there, the SETI at Home project that a lot of you guys remember fondly, where you download the screensaver, that recently finished processing the data. And they've got 100 candidate signals. Now, again, all of those are not going to be ET, but they are interesting and worth a second detection. But the problem is that we have with this, science, and I think quite rightly so, requires like a second detection. And the idea behind this is that, if I've got my dish here pointed up towards Proxima Centauri, our closest neighbour there, and I'm going, I'm getting a signal on screen, so I think it's coming from Proxima, that's where I'm pointing. You need to then ring up your mate and go, hey mate, who's on the other side of the country, far enough away that they can point their dish from a different location to the same site. And if they can hear it, then that's pretty reasonable that you're both right on where the source of that is, and it's not like a passing satellite or a passing plane, or maybe some sort of a malfunction within your dish and equipment. So quite reasonable that they need that second detection to confirm it. But the problem that we have, and it's a bit of an own goal here for science, so this is where I start to fall out with science, because it's fine, need a second detection, great, but they don't do it like we're doing it tonight. We're doing this in real time, and in the movies they're doing it in real time. They ring up their friend, as you've probably seen there, and they go, hey, are you getting this signal too? There. But in the reality, just take the SETI at Home stuff there, it took them 20 years to go through the data. So if those signals happened 20 years ago, they've only just got through the data, they're going to write a couple of papers on it, another 5 years, then they're going to book in telescope time from other telescopes to start going, right, let's check these locations where we heard the first signal, can we get a second detection from it? 25 years later, okay, or more, some of them are quicker than that, but not like that quicker. They're still, years the way the speed science works. Of course you're not going to get that second detection. You need to do it in real time. It's like my doorbell going and I'm waiting 3 weeks before I answer it and open the door going, rude. Of course they're not still going to be there. Again, it takes a hell of a lot of energy to send these signals over these distances. A civilization isn't going to be doing it all of the time. So if you're getting it, you need to kind of have a parallel dish and a separate to really be doing it properly. So a lot of the time when they say we haven't got any evidence, what they mean is we've got a lot of interesting candidates, but we don't have the technology or resources to confirm it. And that'd be a more honest statement there. M to the C, how are you doing there? And Kate, I feel like I've been saving for it forever, and it's not the one I had planned on getting, but still I love it there. As a kid, parents would always say, if you work for it, if you save up for it, you'll appreciate it more. And bollocks, just give it to me now. But that are totally right there, Kate, and very, very well earned with all of that there. Very difficult to do this day and age there. So congratulations on well earned there. And DJ, my choice for my next buy is either a laptop for my 16th or my 16th tattoo. It's difficult. Depends what use would you get out of a laptop there. I would normally go for technology. I've only got one tattoo, but tattoos do last though, don't they? And John, how are you doing? Good evening there. It's all purchased up for a year now there. Which do you want more? Well, I think, yeah. I would always say technology there. We'll get Alan to heads or tails it there. And Astro there, going to use the mesh antenna plus the Newelec Sorbird H1 LNA and a loop feed there. Oh, the Cape, excellent. we're using mostly New Elect stuff. They were very kind in us and providing some kit for us for the stream and a giveaway for you guys. Hopefully at some point we can work with them again we gave away 3, or they should say they gave away 3 starter kits to you guys there as well. There. A little bit of help over the internet of Alex. Oh, that name does ring a bell there. Been done by software based. It's all beyond me, but it sounds absolutely fascinating, Astro Hunter. I want to keep me updated there on your progress with that one there. And the rises are right up in the... It really is tonight. Now, it's a new setup tonight, so we've got to make sure there's no technical... There are technical issues, but it's not that technical interference that's causing it. But that we are seeing, on the average line there, we are seeing some activity there that doesn't look necessarily natural. Now, it's quite thin, so that's possibly pointing more towards, again, electronic interference. And it's coming in flashing away all night. Typical. But... He's right on the line. Unpopular opinion, how are you doing? Good to see you there. You lost your main again. Oh no. The start. That is soul destroying there. I am very, very sorry to hear that. Oh, thank you for the follow. That is, in this day and age as well, isn't it? You know, it's very, very, very difficult. And no help with the major platforms as well when you're in that situation as well. So definitely feeling for you there. And Adam, if we didn't say thank you already.
Nom nom nom, thanks,
thank you
guys.
for feeding Alan, appreciate that. Third time lucky. Oh, honestly, we've had enough technical issues out at our end, and the fault of the universe just doesn't want me to do this. But you've got to persevere, Unpopular. Keep it up. Let me know if we can do anything on our end as well. Right, I'm going to bounce back over to the tube, see where we got to with you guys. Been patiently waiting. So guys, you are just joining us. We're doing our live alien radio signal hunt tonight there. We are searching what is called the hydrogen line, and that is the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET is out there, this is where they'd put that message. Hello, is anybody else out there? Again, it might not actually be a hello message. It might be a goodbye or a help us message. That, in fact, might be the time where civilization is most willing to put in enough resources to send that signal further for longer there. Where are we in the chat here? I ran the original SETI for years there, and I have many older work units that are Colin. A lot of people, especially our community, absolutely remember that fondly. And I think even if they don't need the technology, old SETI, they're missing out on a bit of community outreach, getting people involved. But I mean, then again, if it's taken them 20 years to go through the data, maybe they do need the help there. But apparently they are considering bringing it back in some form there. We are ready for contact. Living Light, I think so. I would definitely agree there. And preferences for this project SETI at home, computer total, what's that one? Classic work here. That is a long one there, using all of that CPU power. So you guys might be interested. You can actually now, this is now live 24/7, even when we're not on the stream. It is live, guys, over on our website. Where is my button for the website? Oh, new here. So, on our actual website, guys, obviously it's got your normal stuff if we're on tonight, what our schedule is, a deep dives, movie club, all of that jazz there, Discord. It's got all of that, and we'll wait for my little video to go down to show you the rest of it. But the way it works in a minute is if you create an account there with the same email account that you use for the Patreon, even the free tier, then you get to log into our sensor dashboard, and you see it there. This is all these different sensors that are always live that you can select which ones you want, and then you can kind of pop them out, and you can therefore do your own monitoring of everything from what's going on up there in space to Earth, you know, geomagnetic index there, Schumann resonance, all that jazz. But also, there we go, you get a version of this which is live all of the time there. So you know, you can do your own SETI at home searching any time that you want. You can even press a button and log any if you do get any interesting signals, and it has your name on it, so we know who gets the credit there. So it's, do check that one out there. So it does pair said with the Patreon, but the free tier does work with it there as well. So it's the thing UFO.live will get you there. Very, very cool. And also 11,523 hours worth of so there were a number of anomalous signals detected during the SETI at Home project. So with that many hours, Colin, you probably could claim to being part of those signals, I think, statistically there. And their home planet may be gone by then. Exactly, AUP. This is the thing. This is why it is so pressing. And astro hunting, actually, this is a good point. We should work together we should set up these dishes and then kind of correlate, where they're both pointing to. So then we can, if we get a spike, you get, there'll be that second person to confirm it, because we're still short. We could get a very interesting signal right here, but we're still short that real-time second detection. I think maybe we need to have somebody out there, somewhere else in the world, we're pointing at the same part of the sky there, so we can get that confirmation and do that properly in real time. And have you caught anything in between the signals? Oh, yeah. And where are we down there? Tattoo all the way up. I knew you'd say that, you party animal. As you're cracking open your third can of beer. There, Private Tomcat, how are you doing there? Good to hear the noise in the background again. It's a bit tinny tonight. I'm going to try and see if I can tweak it and see if we can get a better quality, get a little bit louder so you can hear it clearer. So if I turn down. That is the signal, guys, coming through loud and clear there. Now, that is just at the minute the cosmic microwave background. The sounds for just after the Big Bang, about 380,000 years after the Big Bang, they say. They reckon it is. Now, it sounds a long time, but in the billions of years of existence of the universe, that is literally the second after the Big Bang. So, that is what we are hearing. Oh, we've got another star in range tonight there. Is that Deshuba? What is that? One of my eyes. You know what? I need to make this one bigger. Where is my cursor? Is it? Ah, there it is. Hold on, guys. Let me make this one bigger. Is it that screen? Yeah, that one. Okay, yeah. So it is. We got Zune, although that's not how you actually pronounce it, and Deshuba there. So one is 77 light years away, and the other one is 460 or something like that. Still very busy, but look, we're going to have. Is that? Antares coming in then? That one that's on the. Outer edge at the minute, that might come in time for the stream. I need to actually make that a little bit bigger because I can't quite see it. We'll fix that. TV problems. Where did we get to? This is now one. How are we doing, Tresor? And does your telescope work in a daytime there, Jug? So this one, this radio telescope, this works all of the time. In fact, it's on all of the time now. But our camera that we use for our Skywatch is, guys, if you are new here tonight, this is what we normally do. It's a UFO, UAP, a Skywatch there, looking out for the weird and wonderful in the night sky, live over Wiltshire in the UK, right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge. But it does work in the day. We don't have it set up there because it's not actually a telescope. It's just like a digital camera with a long HDMI lead and a good lens there, so I can't really leave it out in case it rains. But we are looking at some other options for that as well. But day sort of observations we don't really do a lot of. I suppose when it's cloudy as well, mainly because although in theory we could still see lots of activity, it's just not pretty to look at. And if I'm sitting here for a few hours, I want to be looking at some stars. I want to see all of that going on as well there. But yeah, we are trying to figure out to get an all-sky, fisheye camera on the roof and just have that running permanently. That hopefully you guys can tune into as well anytime that you want. Because we are in this little town in Wiltshire called Warminster, which, if you know, back in the 60s and 70s here was an absolute UFO hotspot here. Went on consistently for 10 years. It was totally far surpasses any other hotspot that I've heard of. It's not just the occasional sightings, it was consistent sightings. And in fact, somebody in our YouTube chat tonight was actually part of those old school Skywatchers who used to come here, and again, it was consistent sightings all of the time. So there's still a bit of a hotbed, there is still some activity here as well. And Peter, I remember about 10 years ago a whisper that the UFO stuff was about to explode to basically usher in the Star Wars government thing. Well, this is something we do have to be cautious of. We've heard in the past that there's been a few times when they have seriously considered full disclosure, but whatever happens, sometimes it's been economic. They go, oh no, recession, we can't handle it. Oh no, there's a war on, too much of a distraction, and then they kind of bottle it. But they have to be careful here, that it can be used as a justification for other things. I mean, people talk about Project Bluebeam, which is the idea that the governments would pretend that there is a UFO, a nasty alien invasion, basically, a false flag operation to justify extra rules and more of oppressive government there to control us all. And, of course they would. Given half the chance, they do false flags with conventional foe, don't they? So if enough people did believe in UFOs and aliens, then I think, yeah, they would definitely use that one. So we do have to be cautious, even if we are hearing what we want to hear. Rachel, you're off there. Hope it all goes well tomorrow. I'm sure it will, Rachel. Thank you for joining us there. And the Big Bang was an insult from Fred Hoyle there, steady state dude. So this is the thing, isn't it? We take the Big Bang as figured out. This is it. Science has figured it out now. But the Big Bang itself is quite new. I'm not necessarily... I don't know how I feel about steady state or, the reciprocal universe there, like a repeating Big Bang. I really don't know on those ones yet. They're all very interesting theories. But science has this habit, definitely when it's passing that knowledge down to us, everyday folk on the street, they tell it to us as if it's a definite. Like, we figured it all out. Maybe there's a little tweak here or there, but it's all figured out. But really, no, it's their best current guess, and a lot of that follows fashion within the science community as well. They are very easily misled and up the garden path with a lot of this sort of stuff there. So I'm definitely open. I mean, the Big Bang is what people know, but again, it might not have been a Big Bang. This is just our best understanding of these things. Like black holes, technically that's a mathematical paradox, but it's the closest thing we've got to explaining it. But it doesn't quite work. The maths doesn't technically maths. Now, is that a limitation of our maths there? Where did we get to? And I'd love a sun telescope. Oh, Peter, me too. We got very close to getting one. Very, very close. And hopefully we will at some point as well, because I'd love to mess around. Even doing the radio stuff as well. Now, obviously, we're here for the aliens, guys. But it's not just the alien stuff that... Sorry, I had to look at that. It's not just the aliens. Radio has lots of interesting phenomena and property that you can hunt there. Same with the telescope. You've got all the whole space as well. There's a strong overlap there, which I'd love to explore. And do you know Robert Hooke? Oh, no, I don't. Doesn't ring a bell. Who's that then, Peter? And a lot of the time, they bung in disinformation there to diffuse a lot of the time. So it's annoying. John, they do, and sometimes they may even be getting lied to themselves there. I am very interested by the idea that theoretical physicists have been led astray with string theory. Can't remember what it was called before that one, but as a distraction, so they didn't actually get close to the good stuff. And if you look at the sort of things that, string theory is, it's elegant maths. They can all sit around tugging each other off about how wonderful their maths is without actually providing much or even testable, which isn't that the whole point of science? It has to be testable. There. And Rachel, it will all be wonderful. There, and Simonzi, how are you doing there? And you're on nights there, so hello and goodbye. I love you. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll catch you later. I hope your nights are not too bad there. And Stu Mandri, how are you doing there? Good to have you in. Guys, if you're new here, do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from tonight there. Any questions, ask away. There's no silly questions here at all. I'm bouncing between two chats tonight, so it might take me a second to get to your messages there, but do ask away, and I will get around to you guys there. I'm just going to go back over to the TikTok chat, but again, we are doing our alien radio signal hunt tonight there. We are searching on the hydrogen line. That is the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorise that if ET is out there, this is where they'd put the message, hello, is anybody else out there? It's where the wow signal was heard back in the 1970s there as well. So do hang around tonight, guys, and have a look, see if we get lucky, if we are in the right place at the right time. Exactly, unpopular. Best foot forward. We're definitely wishing you all the best to get back up to speed there. And hey, if I could sell the autographs, I'd have you'd have enough for it there. But then you wouldn't be surrounded by awesome things. It's not worth it, DJ. Money comes and goes there. And Adam Net, could you explain the wow signal? So, of course, and that's a brilliant question. So, the wow signal was detected, I think, 1978 by the Big Ear Radio Telescope. I think it's the Ohio State University. So I don't know if it was in Ohio. I would assume so. There. But anyway, it was a very anomalous radio signal there. It looked exactly like a technological signal not coming from this Earth on the frequency, the channel on the dial where we would expect an alien radio signal to be. So it ticked all of the boxes, there. Now, again, it was at the time there was the delay. It was only a day delay before they realised it, but yeah, still was too much of a long delay to get that second detection. Now, it came from somewhere in the Sagittarius constellation. We don't know exactly where, but that way, all of the stars are quite far away over there, so there wasn't an obvious candidate of where it came from, but it looked exactly like how we would expect an alien radio signal to look, where we would expect to find it. There have been many more since then, but that's the one that gets the attention because it is a really, really, really good one. There have been over the years many attempts to kind of debunk it as alien there from the scientific community. Most of them are absolute crap. The one that's currently in favour at the minute is the idea that if, I don't know, a pulsar shot a beam, a very special sort of beam that it might do every now and again, bounces off of something and goes through a hydrogen cloud, then if we're in the perfect position, we might then detect something similar to the wow signal. And for me, you go, well, it might be possible, but also that is the most convoluted trick shot I have ever fucking heard of, and therefore to me sounds very much like going against Occam's razor. So I think aliens become easier at this rate as well, because remember, the reason why aliens is never the answer is because we don't have the information for it yet. But that is also the reason why they thought humanity, modern anatomical humans, were no more than 30,000 years old, because they hadn't found any bones that were older than that for humans. But oh wait, then they found more bones. 150,000 years. Oh, more bones again. 330,000 years. So it's a bit of a chicken and an egg sort of thing there. It does not mean that it isn't there. So yeah, I think there is more definitely out there in space. I think, at some point, the aliens becomes the easier answer there. And Kate there, so I assume this is the fixed stream. It is, Kate. We are rolling back again on the stream computer. Look, I have my buttons back. I can bore you guys with little adverts. Oh, Alan. There we go, Alan. I haven't pressed the Discord one. Join our Discord, guys. Haven't mentioned that one tonight. Little link in bio there. But all of the latest news in the UFO world you guys are sharing in there. But most importantly, your first-hand experiences with the phenomena itself. That is my favourite section, so you guys are welcome to add yours. I'll just read through all of those as well there. And Domiko, how are you doing there? Is your equipment CXY website. So it's Nooelec is who we get it from there. So it's NOOELEC.com there. Very good equipment manufacturers there. Definitely worth it there. But they sell all the gear that you need to start doing this at home. But as I say, if you are on our Patreon, you can sign up on our website as well, and then you get access to this running 24/7, plus all sorts of other anomalous stuff, so you don't need to go and buy the kit. You'll be able to do it, and you'll be able to log any signals that may get detected when you're monitoring there, and your name is attached to them. So if you do detect something, there we go. Floofy, thank you for the gifts there as well. Appreciate all of that, and it all goes back into the stream there. All the gifts, subs, patrons, members, super chats, all of that jazz said goes in there, helping us improve what we do. All of the new features, just like having that on 24/7 there. And Kate coming in with the shares again, very much appreciated there. It is those likes and shares that helps us reach more and more like-minded people there, like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds on the old phenomena, the better there. The more we can all piece this puzzle together. My favourite bit is when some new people come in, they share their knowledge or their experiences with the phenomena. That is my favourite part about all of this there. And where are you pointing your dish there? So it's about, I think it's a 15-degree inclination, but it is directly south from where we are here in Wiltshire in the UK. So again, guys, if you have YouTube, this is what it looks like on YouTube there. So you get to see the meters you're seeing there, but all sorts of extra analysis. But right at the bottom, which is covered by my little camera box if you're on TikTok, so you don't see it, it is a night sky map. It shows you live where our dish is pointing, what are the closest stars in range of that dish. So it's definitely worth checking out there. Point to Sagittarius isn't probably the best option there, even if it was in the middle of our galaxy. So this is the thing, isn't it? The Sagittarius constellation, it's going to be a tricky one there. But isn't the Sagittarius constellation, isn't that a remnant of another galaxy that merged with us at some time? I only heard that one recently there. Eva as well there, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from tonight there? And if you're not following us already, guys, make sure you are following and subscribe, whatever it is, wherever you are, because we're on pretty much every night. Clear skies, it's the old alien on radio, no, it's the UFO UAP Skywatch there, looking out for all the weird and wonderful things in the night sky live with you guys. Or cloudy nights, alien radio signal hunt like we're doing tonight. Or if the moon's up, I'm not going to be bothered, It's the moon watch, and that's what it looks like. We look for trans-lunar phenomena, all the weird things that have been seen on, off, and around the moon. So always doing some hunting together with you guys for the phenomena there. And because there is there's massive black holes there, the arms of the Milky Way, it would probably be better. I suppose you're going to have less, you're going to be a clearer signal, I imagine, with that sort of thing, isn't it? So yeah, we're directly south at the second, so we just go with whatever is in the area at the time. I'd love to actually be able to position the dish, but that'll be a future upgrade at some point. Because wouldn't it be cool to be able to target certain stars? Like, we're going to be checking the same one every night and have it track it. That would be really, really cool. And there, oi, there, what's your internet name on the Google so I can watch the radio thing live? So, it is, the web address should be just www.thethingufo.live, and enter that as the web address, and it will take you to our homepage. You have to click on the login button, and then you click on sign up and you register, but you've got to use the same email address that you've got on the Patreon, and then it matches you up basically, knows that you're the same, and then brings you in, gives you access to the members area for all of that stuff. I think the free version does work. If it doesn't, I'll make sure the settings work for that as well, the second, so everybody can get access. But we want to make sure that there's not bots using it all the time and making accounts there, so that's why we tether it to that. There, and user 68 there, in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was with God. I mean, look, I'm not particularly religious myself, but the more we look into this there, I mean, it's very hard to escape the idea of an overall creator. Now, lots of scientists, have started off, not that way inclined, and then as the more they've looked, the more religious they have become. In fact, what's really, really interesting me at the minute is you look to the really old religious texts there that document the phenomena. That document, old religious texts, and it describes the UFO, the alien phenomena, similar to how we're experiencing it now. Again, different interpretation, but been going on the whole time. Could well be the same thing. And if you think that's true, then what else is there as well? Lots of scientists looking into consciousness now, simulation theory. It's different words, but they're all saying the same thing, which again looks like to a lot of the spiritual stuff there. And you need to link the links. Oh, you know what? Have I not done that one already, Kate? What an oversight. I will definitely do that one tonight there, Kate. Thank you for that one. And Brianna there. My dad's name is Alan. This Alan. I bet your dad isn't as much trouble as this Alan. Alan?
It's me, Alan, the real star of the show.
Thank you, Alan. He likes to remind me. Say hello to your dad for us there. And Oscar, how are you doing? Good to see you in. How are you doing there? Oh, had your consultation day then. Highly likely have a tear in the case. I'm off for surgery. Well, fingers crossed that can help you get that resolved and be on the way there. So definitely wishing you the best with that one, man. And Astro there, have you ever wondered why all the antennae searching for intelligent life are pointing away from Earth? I mean... I like that. We want that one on a t-shirt, I think, there. And after surgery, it'll be a very long recovery. I think 6 months. Jesus, that is a long time. But if it gets it done, that'll be much better. No, he's worse, Brian. I don't know. Our Alan, he's awful there. You'd buy it. I'm tempted. I'm going to be doing tinfoil hats as well soon. Kate, I was doing the overlays for Kerbal, because we've got to get that set up again. Not that we have any time to do it lately, but... I was going to do one for Chodex, do a t-shirt for that. Again, if you've not seen our Kerbal streams, I haven't done one in a very long time there, you won't have a clue what we're talking about there. And not seen this one before, Thomas, well, welcome in. We are doing our live alien radio signal hunt tonight there. So if you've seen the film Contact or the recent TV series Pluribus there on Apple TV there, it is that sort of thing. We're listening out with our big dish pointed up at the night sky there, listening out for potential alien radio signals. They are quite rare, but they do happen. The more we do it, the more our statistical odds do increase of getting a potential detection there. So it's an excuse for us to hang out together there and chew over the latest UFO news, whilst also still doing some work there, having a chance of getting a signal in, hopefully, there. Do it there. Oh, okay, I'm hoping you like the new overlays as well for that one. Your team manager is also... Oh, excellent. I'm glad it is. I'm always worried about these new things. I'm tempted to tie in the TikTok shop with the merch stuff, but I'm nervous it'll screw up. But, yeah, guys, if you like, look, we've got our Signal Hunter t-shirt tonight. Big radio telescope there, night sky. let everybody know that you're cool as well. I said it all goes back into the stream. And at the minute, I said we are particularly saving up for taking the show on the road to Rendlesham Forest. We're going to do a UFO Skywatch for live from Rendlesham Forest, where the reported crash/landing happened in the 80s, but also generally a weird place. So that's on our to-do list for the minute. Not sure what the situation is for this week's On Location. Pete has informed me that he has a bedtime where it gets late, so I'm trying to move it to Saturday. So sometimes we'll take the Skywatch rig up at the old Iron Age hill forts that surround the town, where historically there's been a hell of a lot of UFO sightings, and we've seen some strange things up there. And we were planning for Thursday, but Pete has a bedtime, so we're trying to push it to Saturday if the weather is good for that one there. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Taking a good few days to dispatch, but I got an email update. Yeah, actually, that has taken a few days longer than normal, because my one's come quite quick. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Maybe they just know that you're trouble there, but thank you for that one. Alan, you're Alan's favourite at the minute as well. You're the only one that's bought a Team Alan t-shirt. And Print Farm, I don't have a bedtime. I should have a bedtime, but I have no self-control, so I'm on here at all hours, so... I mean, I'm up for doing it 2 in the morning, even on work night, but he's a soft boy. But they are fun. They are a very, very different sort of stream there. You've been a menace since birth there, Kate. You and Alan are the same. Where do we get to? Over on the tubes. Let's get over there. Oh, just jumped ahead. Where did we get to? Oh, God, there's a few messages I missed here, guys. Sorry, guys. Where do we get to? There, Stu is in there. Oh, and Robert, is it Hook? Hook was the force behind Isaac Newton. Christopher Rennick said, really? And he invented the microscope and did a lot with telescopes. His book is Micrographia. Best-selling book in the 1700s. That is too big brain for me, but it sounds fascinating. I'm a nightmare, guys. I don't know who did what when. I have a rough functional understanding of how it works, but I couldn't tell you did what when there. I'll have to have a look there as well. And living like that, it would be cool if, starting today, political leaders could only speak the truth there with the same urgency as a bathroom emergency. Can you imagine what the world would collapse if they actually bloody did, didn't they? And Gandalf there, I always put the R in. Sorry, man. The reason it's called the WOW signal is because the scientists wrote on the print out WOW. So we very much did so. Unlike, what we're doing now, where we're hearing this, right? The way it was recorded was those old funny, printing out line by line of all the signals it was detecting, and the signal strength was represented by letters and numbers. And when he was manually going through the reams of paper the next day, saw the stream of letters and numbers and circled it in a red biro and wrote the word "wow!" exclamation marks. So that's how it got. Then you're very right. It got the name of the WOW signal. So if we get one, it's going to be called the fuck signal, because that's exactly my expression. And loving the stickers there. Hey, up food him. And Peter there. Robert Hooke used the monument of the Great Fire of London to understand time was slower closer to. Really? I did not know that. I mean, with the equipment they had back in the day, I mean, it blows my mind how they were able to, I can understand them observing movement, but then trying to actually figure out what that movement was based on those limited observations, let alone figuring out basic relativity there. That is insane. So that's well before Einstein, isn't it? Wow. Where are we down here? And John there, yeah, and we could get our own massive observation disc. Oh, if we win the lottery. Hey, that's exactly what we do. I am actively chasing people with surplus big dishes, and the missus is looking at me going, not in our fucking garden. We put this dish up on the roof, and the neighbours looked up at me going, what TV are you trying to get with that then? I was like, do I tell them it's aliens? I'm already the weird guy that can probably hear these streams, and this big green light out of the window look like a total nutter, which is probably not too far off of it there. And I did that one there. The word in the beginning was the word, and the word was sound. Sound, mate. Alan sounds a bit creepy there. Alan he's a menace to society. Alan, got anything else to say?
Follow us now, or I'm sending the mothership.
Thank you, Alan. You got to listen to him there. And a book by Emmanuel Velikovsky, their outlines that Venus was a comet. What? Have I pressed the wrong button? It doesn't match the wow signal. Why did that go off? I must have. Alan, did you press a button? I must have leant on the button to trigger that one. We can trigger it for testing if I press the one key, I think. That was a brief moment of excitement. The Venus was a comet and caused planetary catastrophe. Many wonder. There, Wanderer. And in the words of Kevin Goodman there, keep the flame burning. Exactly there, Gandalf. And hoping that we will actually get to physically meet on the anniversary evening. You'll have to ask the lads if they want to live stream it. If not, I won't bring the kit and I'll just say hello and go for the personal experience. But if they want to live stream it, I'm happy to bring the rig up there for the anniversary meetup. Link for the merch raft, so it's shop. Actually, on the YouTube, you should have it should be displayed below it there. It is on our YouTube page there, but for merch, it's shop.thethingufo.live. You need to go in there manually, guys. Why is my little button not working today? No, it's not showing. It's just showing the white screen. Wow, well, there we go. You can see me. There's the mug. There's the other mug in a t-shirt. There's various different ones we've got there. It's not a very good image of that one there. This is what I'm showing you there is our merch showcase. So if you order it, and you take a picture of yourself in it or in it at an interesting location, you post it in the merch showcase in the Discord. Alan grabs those images, adds it to that for me, so then on the stream we can show you guys, wearing it all there as well. And Robert Hooke was a polymath there, the best British brain ever, and typically doesn't get the attention, I imagine, by the sound of it. And Tank there saw Project Hail Mary there, very, very good. I thought it was a good film. I felt it was a bit of Hollywood. There wasn't as much science, the explanation about what was going on and why. I was left hungry. There was a lot on the alien relationship for me. And living like, are we eternal beings? This is a very, very interesting question here. Now, there is an element of mortality to us, but is that where it ends there? No, over time, it's only recently that we think it does there. And again, even modern science now is coming around to the idea that maybe consciousness itself isn't localized to our meat suits. I've definitely heard them say it's like we're wearing a headset, and for me that very much feels like, when you're watching a film and you're so engrossed that you're kind of just zoomed in on it, you're in the film, and then you kind of go, huh, and you step back and you remember you're in the real world. Well, they talk about maybe something like that with our consciousness. Maybe we're just in the meat suits and that's why we're perceiving it like this, but we come out of it maybe. Again, that is proper. Scientists are making those theories at the minute there. And Hitchhiker's Guide is the best sci-fi. I don't think that's on our movie club list. So definitely join our Discord and add it to the movie club there so we can vote on it. Once a month, normally the last Friday of the month there, we will watch an alien-themed film together, chat along in the Discord. And then vote for the next one there. They say a brain is an antenna. They definitely do. Something to do with the old microtubules there collapsing could be part of this quantum process there. Even old Roger Penrose is talking about this. And again, Nobel Prize winning, very credible. I think he's a mathematician, isn't he? There, but very, very credible individual. So, if he's talking about this sort of stuff, there could be something very much to it. It's no longer in the lands of a woo. It just took science a long time to catch up there. Liberty, how are we doing today? What have you been up to? Did you get any, have you been live streaming recently? I was only off for a day, but I feel like it's been ages since I've seen everybody. Let's have a look down here. There, Archie and Astro Hunting there. Thank you for the follows, guys. It's good to have you. Where in the world are you joining us from? So, guys, if you're new here, do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from there. But also, ask any questions there. Maybe it's what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, or if you've seen something in the news there, alien-related you'd like to talk about, or my favourite, if you've experienced something strange. Again, would love to hear about that one. Just over on the TikTok chat now. So, Astro Hunting there, thank you for the gifts as well. I nearly missed those two. So it all goes back into the stream there, helping us improve on what we do. And what's with the orange flashing bars on the centralized portfolio? So the signal strength is colorized. So mostly when the signal analysis moves, right? So the lowest setting, so just the background noise, is going to be green there. And that's its default lowest setting. But if it gets strong enough, it will start to go orange, and then if it gets even stronger than that, it goes red. And the idea, red, it starts to trigger everything there, so it draws our attention. So the idea is it's a different color change. You can at a glance see if something is is awry? Is there something worth paying a bit of extra attention to? So now we have got a signal right there. You can see it flashing orange. Now that is most likely to be electronic interference, sadly, to do with the equipment and how it's all connected. But you see how square that is there. Again, that is very typical of electronics, of a signal, of technology. Technology is very efficient, whereas nature is messy and all over the place there. But the real giveaway for why it's probably not alien is that it's been with us the whole fucking time of the stream. So that means that the source of that is most likely physically here with us there. Because you imagine our dish is pointing up to the night sky, and as the Earth rotates, it's sweeping around like that. So the further away the object is, the quicker it's on screen for us. So these distant stars and their planets are only on screen, or only in range, I should say, of the dish for between 30 to 90 seconds there. The only thing that goes quicker kind of works in reverse if you get a plane shoot in front of it there, and that was sending us a signal. But yeah, that is one of the ways that we can filter these things out. But it is interesting, at least it's changing colours again there. And own the nutterness there. It's your natural state. Exactly. Which is good. Just got to embrace it, I think, by this point. I mean, I've been on our local radio station talking about all this. I've just got to embrace it. Next, it'll be with the newspaper articles as well. So I'm just going full in. I'm going to be the crazy UFO guy. And Anna there as well. Love that. And Astro as well. Nowadays, people can get into radio astronomy for under $300/quid. There, check New Alec. So it is actually a very accessible hobby. And there's, you don't have to be just doing this. There are other things that you can be doing. Radio is very interesting and anomalous for a number of reasons there. Another weird anomaly in radio that could be related to the alien stuff is the long delay echo phenomena. Have you experienced this one, Astro? And Agent X, thank you for the gift. How we doing, mate? But yeah, the idea that there is something that is either reflecting our signals back or repeating them, actively repeating that signal back about 3.5 seconds, light seconds away from us there. So it takes 7 seconds to have this echo back to you, basically. Now, the moon isn't there. There is nothing there to physically be bouncing that signal back to us. Very interesting that something is doing that. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens occasionally. But you know what is about 3.5 seconds away from us, apparently? A Lagrange point. And a Lagrange point is very interesting because it is where the gravity of large bodies interact, so the Earth and the moon in this case, and cancel each other out. So it's like a parking spot in space. Other than that, everything is in an orbit. It's moving, it's falling to Earth or the moon or wherever it's orbiting in a big circle. So, they're constantly flying. It takes a lot of energy to keep it on course and things like that. But these Lagrange points are parking spaces, the perfect place for you to put a probe if you wanted to monitor our planet. I mean, Earth has been screaming biological life for over 2 billion years, hasn't it? So, maybe some ancient race put a probe in orbit there monitoring us. And why repeating our signals back? Well, how do you communicate with a civilization that you're there if you do not know their language or anything about them? Well, you could set your probe to wake up when you detect technological radio, because, that's a sign that they've reached technology, and therefore, they're complex and intelligent. And then how do you, if you don't know their messages, you can't understand their language, what do you send back? You just send their message back, because that tells you, hey, I'm here and I'm advanced enough to be able to repeat the message. And if you think about this, we do this at the zoo. Check yourself next time you go to the zoo. There you go to the monkey enclosure. We start to mimic them, don't we, to try and show them, look, there's a connection here. If you go to the birds, you'll start doing this, and you'll be trying to mimic their behavior, going, look, I'm copying you, there's a connection. I don't know what you speak, but there's something we've got in common here to kind of initially wake that up. So we'd theorize that we'd do that with a probe. Maybe that is what we're seeing as well there. And Phil, there, no dead air there. Serious props there. Let's hear the science. Honestly, Phil, I couldn't listen to this stream with the amount of bloody natter, but honestly, there is a correlation, guys. As soon as I slow down, numbers. I don't know which weirdos actually like me talking this fast, but yeah, dead air, it goes off. How are we doing, Phil, there? And oi, I'm on the Discord. It says I download for desktop Windows. Oh my god, there. Which is it? Oh, so you're a PC. You know what? That will depend on your PC. If it's a newer one, it will probably be the Windows 64, x64, probably. If not, it'll be the other one. It just won't work. It shouldn't break anything unless it's old enough and it clogs the thing. But I'd like to see. I'm looking forward to seeing you over on the Discord there. So the Discord is our little community chat thing there. It's a great. It's like an old school forum come messenger platform there, but it's interactive with everything we do here. So like if you you comment your movie club suggestions in the movie club tab there, Alan every night goes through, collects your suggestions, adds them to his list, and then automatically posts a poll after the last movie so we can all vote on it, and then gets that one scheduled. Same with as I said, like with the merch showcase there. If you take a picture in our merch, post it in the merch showcase channel, Alan grabs those, puts them on here so we can then go boom, let's see all of the stuff, see you in it. It's just me at the second, but yeah, very interactive in those ways there. And the lurker there did something. Call me and beep beep. Hi everyone, good to see you in, lurker. Where are you lurking from tonight? If you are just joining us, guys, Adam, thank you for the gifts there. It all goes back into the stream. If you are just joining us, we're doing our live alien radio signal hunt tonight, kind of like the film Contacts, or the recent TV series on Apple TV there, Pluribus there, listening out to space, hoping to hear a message from ET there. This is all of our radio gear, all sorts of various analysis. And what you're listening to right now, if I turn the music down and shut up, that is the signals coming in live. Now, it's not alien at the minute. That is what we call the cosmic microwave background. And scientists think that is, just after the Big Bang, which is pretty cool to think that's what we are listening to there. It's the same as the static in between radio stations or old TV stations, if you're as old as me there as well. But that is the background noise of the universe. The universe speaks and screams in radio there, but we are hoping that we're going to get a rare signal that's going to peak above all of that, and we're going to see it on the screen and get very, very excited. So make sure you're following or subscribe. We do this pretty much every night there. If it's a clear night though, and it's the main agenda, we do a UFO, UAP, a Skywatch, and we are based right in the heart of Crop Circle country here in Wiltshire in the UK, and just down the road from Stonehenge. We see lots of strange things in the night sky there. Oh, moon as well. If that's up and nothing bothered, that's what that one looks like there. So hopefully you'll get those notifications when we go live. And who is hiding tonight there? And where's Alan? He's here. He's always lurking there, like the lurker there. And what modulation do you look for? So we have it set at the minute. It's to, is it CW? I think in a second. But I'm not really fussed on what modulation. All we want is a signal. A clearly technological signal coming, hopefully not from Earth there. That is what we need. What the message says, how they're encoding the message into that signal, that's step 2. And chances that somebody far smarter than me probably doesn't even have a chance on that one. But so it's just, it's just getting the signal first off there. The reason we have it on the CW, and this is basically like how you decode it, guys. It's like what language. So FM and AM, that's a form of modulation, or of how the message is put into the radio signal, because radio is a natural phenomena, but this is how we humans put messages in them, and you have to be in the right one to be able to decode it basically and listen and hear the voices or whatever the message is. So it's unlikely, but it's possible that the aliens would come to the same conclusion and then conveniently put it in whatever one that we're listening to, but it doesn't have to. It's just getting the message clear. The reason we have it in that particular one is because it sounds the less offensive having it on in our ears there. And astro hunting there, yeah, I've been observing meteor echoes there using Graves radar. So I've seen some people do that, and it's very, very interesting today. And user 68, big love there, good to have you in. And Adam is in as well. And Adam, thank you for the shares. Guys, it is the likes and shares that helps us reach more and more like-minded people there like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds we get on the old phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together there. I don't want to join you with my camera and telescope. Print farm. Well, whereabouts in the world are you? Yeah, we are actually thinking about doing a meetup. I'm still trying to figure out what we can put on the schedule for maybe at some point in the summer. Do a little Alan Fest. And if the weather holds, you can do a Skywatch together. It's a new one, about 2 months old there. Windows, so that should be, very good then, you should be totally fine. So it should be, the Windows X64. It should be, I think. But honestly, I'm not exactly technical minded myself with it there. Sorry, not too far, so that could be practical. Excuse me, that could be very, very possible. Well, keep your eyes out. If you're on the Discord, it'll be posted in there as well, even if you don't miss the streams. But yeah, we're thinking about doing an Allen Fest. So all I can think of, I need some extra activities, guys. So give us more suggestions. The idea is if we had to do like a little day thing down here, go up the old Iron Age hill forts where we can do a skywatch together if the weather holds. We need a plan B for if the weather doesn't hold, what we can do, and then we need something to do earlier on in the day as well there. And I'm thinking like we could have a long dinner, hang out and a chat, and then do the skywatch after we do it in the middle there. So we need more ideas for that one. Right, I'm going to have to bounce back over to the to the tubes. Where did we get to with you guys? Where did we get to? I've got to up here. Hello, darling. You're sneaking in. Oh, it's Ruby. Mwah. Hello, Ruby.
Say hello to everyone out on the internet.
You fluffy thing. If only she'd sit still long enough. Little chinchilla break. Oh, you're so soft.
She is so soft.
But you hate being out of your cage. She's
so mad.
very soft.
She's mad and soft.
Oh, she's cute. You can have fur all over this top now.
Hold her up to the camera.
You got something to say, Ruby? She doesn't believe in aliens. She's very skeptical.
I wonder what Thomas would have made of all
It wouldn't be interesting, the aliens. Right, I'm going to be sniffing all night now. The hair is so fine. It tickles me. Right, where do we get to? There. Oh, I've been cleaning all your sensors on the camera there, Liberty. I need to get one of those little dust things for the sensor on our camera. There was a bit of dust on it the other day, and I went, I know I shouldn't do this. And I got a bit of spit on there. Oh, fuck. I need to be more careful with these there. And living like from the movie, The English Patient, we are the real countries, not our boundaries, drawn on maps with names of powerful men. That's what I've wanted to walk there to so much. A place with the friends are very, very poetic. Yes, can you imagine? I've got some opinions on countries and borders, guys. We'll bring that one up at some point there. And Munyon, how are we doing there? And the laser will either pick up alien signals or clear up alien cataracts there. Can you imagine, right? They're looking at Earth with their powerful telescope, just as we're going, like, just looking through the lens like that, like, you know, like that. That's how the intergalactic war started. And what do you think with regards to the uptick in debris entering the atmosphere? Is our ship being boarded? Oh, well, there does seem to be a bit, doesn't there? You know, look at lots. We've got statistical increase this year of meteorites, as far as we know, they're meteorites. Coming in, burning up. So it does fit, not inside of the normal patterns of, parts of space we go through the debris. There does seem to be something going on. Now, we assume they're meteorites, don't we? Because what else would it be, guys? It couldn't possibly be aliens. Something's going on. I don't know if we've been boarded, but it is interesting. Excuse me. Could be one of those contextual clues there, Peter. Dudes, aliens are guaranteed the universe is just big. I think so. And you only need 2,000 years of continual technology to observe a galaxy. Well, this is it, isn't it? If you go back to, the start of our technological era there, so say 2,000 years, and most of that has been the hockey tick up there. Even if you go back to when they think civilization, the earliest were 10, 12,000 years ago, it's going to be wrong, but, even with that, that's not a long time in space terms. In fact, as far as we know, humanity's been around for over 300,000 years, at least, possibly closer to 1 million now, that's getting there. And if you think we have, all of our technologies apparently come from this last 12 to 14,000 years, that doesn't take a lot, does it there? So A, says a lot about our timeline, but also, the universe is probably alive. Probably alive. And again, there's a lot of anomalies that do point that way. Now, we don't have the technology yet ourselves to conclusively say otherwise, to confirm these alien signals and whatnot, but, it does look like there are a lot of early indicators there. Don't fear the dead where nerds are. Peter, honestly, sometimes I wouldn't mind a cozier stream, just slowing down, but they don't like it. It don't like it. That's why we do the deep dives, though. They are much more like that, because it's private groups. We will hang out there. And John, I agree, but playing the devil's advocate, there are some who believe we get to a certain stage of civilization and then self-destruct and die out, and there's a plausibility to that. They call it like the great filter. So it may be us, it may be that, you know, there's just something inherent about our complexity and there that we just always self-destruct. You know, a species will always consume all of its resources, maybe locally there, or there could be something in the universe that is always a great filter to wipe us out. But I don't know. I don't think we know enough about the universe to say it's empty. And in fact, again, the first bits we're looking at, you know, the first times we are able to scan those distant planets, it's looking like it's life there. I think it's more a product of our lack of technology, I think, there. But it is still plausible. Again, we can't say it until they can really, you know, lock that one in. And the background noise sounds like some of my Hawkwind albums I listen to. So what's that? Is that, you know, quality for our stream, or questionable quality for Hawkwind there? And in there, Monday we drove through Stonehenge and back to Devon, and it's the only time I've ever had an odd dream, or even remembered it, about a triangular ship invasion, and it's not something I'm worried about. See, that it's funny, isn't it, when you get those ones out of context like that, you know, could be something to it there. Again, I don't normally dream, but like a couple of weeks ago, I had a dream about a triangular ship there. It was very dream-like, though. You know, when dreams are a bit weird. It wasn't like one of those when it looks really realistic there. But I was laying in bed looking out the window, and then just all the dream was just from the first second, it was just this triangular ship just coming in really fast with a big noise, and I just knew, and there was the fear. So maybe there's something in the air there. And John, indeed, a bit like the Aboriginal art too, some revealing images on rocks. There really is. Honestly, the more we look, the more there is evidence. I think somebody said that, you know, if this was a murder trial, there is enough circumstantial evidence to prove it, you know, that it would convince a jury. So what does that say about our judicial system there? But, you know, it's not that there is no evidence. I find it very disingenuous of scientists to say that there is no evidence of aliens. There is no conclusive evidence of aliens, but there is evidence out there which could possibly be that. You know, that's not being flippant. That is that it's still a version of evidence. You know, it's we've not got one conclusive bit yet, but you know, they seem to hold the standard of evidence much higher for the weird things. And I think that is just their human bias coming out. You know, they like to think of themselves as above all of that, but they are not. We know nothing there. Our achievements are nuclear bombs there, but also nuclear energy. You know, this is the thing, and this is the problem with the advanced tech here. You know, if the ET came down and goes, "Hello, Earthlings, we come bearing gift. Here is our power supply that we use to bend space and time for our warp drives. Now be good." Well, they've just given us a bomb. Because that is what energy is. Energy go boom. You know, it can go boom, power your lights, or go boom, bye-bye. You know, that is the problem with this. So I think they, first of all, wouldn't just come out and give us it there. I don't think we can handle it. I think we're not there yet. I think we're on our way, but you know, if we suddenly, you know, got it there, you know, I don't, honestly, be careful what you wish for. I don't think we could handle it. And Andrew, how are you doing there? And I have proof of this portal in my bedroom there, ceiling, which has an electric field that reads as much as 500 megawatts. I leave my body as a plasma and visit another realm of existence. There's no electricity within 5 feet. Now that is very, very interesting, Andrew. So is this something that you can do consistently, and is it dependent on your room? Is there something about your room that allows you the possibility to do this, or do you think it's like a personal skill? Because this is the thing that we're really lacking of in the areas of all of this interesting stuff. It is the repeatability and the measurability of stuff like this. It's still, if we can get it in, you know, if you can have repeated experiences, Andrew, even if it's not all the time, if there is some sort of consistency to it there, that could be incredibly valuable there. Oh, I missed. Oh, did it jump ahead on me there, Peter? Let's have a look. Where did we get to? Oh my god, I did miss that fucking thing. Sometimes you scroll one click and it takes you to the bottom and you don't know there. So let me have a look. Where did we get to? Where did we get to? Oh, Gandalf, night, thank you for joining us as always. Hopefully we'll catch you again later on there as well. And there's a life essence to us there, and I watched myself leave my body. Oh, so this is the first part of it, Andrew, sorry. Body as a sphere of light, the size of a volleyball. And I also could see simultaneously 460 degrees as the ball of light, and I saw my body in bed. People have had those experiences for a very, very long time, isn't it there? It is really, interesting to start to understand what could be going on there. And SETI is a complete sham there, Gordon. How do you mean? As in the institution itself? Because people have raised some very interesting comments, haven't they? There are issues with the SETI organisation there. So SETI loose is an action, but it's also an organisation. So the search for extraterrestrial intelligence is what we're doing here tonight. We're doing it by the medium of a radio. But there is a group, SETI group out there, the official sort of one. Oh, my light's going to come back on. There we go. The official organisation there. And they have said themselves that, if they got an anomalous signal, they wouldn't tell us straight away. In fact, their criteria would be, I can't remember what it is that they would need to know, but essentially they need to know more about it, which we just don't have the technology for. So it's if they're official that they wouldn't tell us with it, which I think is a little bit rubbish. And Galactic, how are we doing there? And oh my goodness, your chinchillas are adorable. Thank you, they are cute. They are the cutest animals ever, but they are also the grumpiest. There. And French caves 59,000 years ago is all about the Renaissance resonance of stone circles and resonant churches, and the key to all is the acoustic resonance that allows people into believing. That's definitely a component of this. We respond to a vibration, to frequency, even if we don't necessarily hear it there, and they definitely play on that in the the churches and things. It's possibly maybe that last flicker of an alternate tech path that maybe pre-existing civilizations went further down that road rather than down the combustion modern day technology that we have in modern era there. But personally, if you've ever been into a cathedral when they've got the organs going, you fucking feel that one. You go, yeah, I've come out of here believing in God, because you get those pipes going in that space. It does, it's like a concert. We kind of do it in modern days. They know how to press the buttons there. And it really messed with my head. That dream I was so real, and I've never woken up so scared in my life that I can even remember the Egyptian markings all over it there, and I am blaming that rock circle for triggering me. That is very interesting. Have you write down the markings, and were they actually Egyptian ones on the craft, or did they just look very similar? Because I'd be very, very keen to know those markings there. Indeed, a bit like an Aboriginal art too. Some revealing images on the rock. There really is, again, whether it is the Aboriginal art, whether it's the old cave paintings, whether it's folklore or early religious texts there. If you take away that human interpretation, what they thought they were seeing, and just go back to the root of what they describe observing, lights in the sky moving strangely, little people taking people away, missing time, and you name it. It seems like the same old phenomena the whole time there. We know nothing there. Exactly. Oh, there we go. That's where I caught up with there. Let me get back to where do we got to. And I'm summoned, Sandra, I'm summoned by tall, shadowy-looking beings that have elevated our rational readings to meet Nordic-looking beings. Very interesting. So you're summoned this. It's not that you've got control of it, but it is not just a regular thing, but it had multiple times. And so you're going to meet beings. Is that consistent in every trip? And Brian, I always feel that we can interact with dark matter and dark energy once we die, and that would explain why 7% of all humans that ever existed are alive right now there. The other 93% corresponds to the missing. That might be an interesting argument for dark matter, dark energy there. Maybe there is something going along around like that. Interesting angle. I mean, when it comes to dark matter and stuff like that, I'm not sure how much that holds up inside, like the science. I think they're fudging their numbers. If I was applying for a bank loan and they wanted to know what my income was and it wasn't enough, and I went, yes, but I have dark income of an extra £1,000 a month, they would call that fraud. But in science, it's dark energy and it's dark matter. I'm more open to dark energy than dark matter, but at the minute, dark matter is a hard sell for me. It might be the case. I'm not that smart, but I also know bullshit. But as an explanation of what can go on, I mean, definitely we are energy. Now, is that energy as in an output, or is our what we call the soul, or whatever is tied into something more intrinsic, is that energy there that then, you know, transfers on to a wider area? Maybe that is a form of dark matter in the sense we don't observe it here. And the cave from 50,000 years ago has high resonance in every place. There's a picture, and it was a stone mason, so I know that I was a stonemason, so I know church acoustics really fit. Now that is actually cool job there as well. Very entirely. So this is it. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing, and on it, we're scratching the surface, aren't we, with these sounds? We hear about it a lot in the paranormal circles of things like infrasound and things like that. But that is just the start of it. I mean, as we've said before, when we're doing our sky watches, like, you know, we're doing all of that there. We search in the visible light, but there's part of the light spectrum. There's two parts. There's the lower end and the higher end that we don't see as humans, and we can build sensors to observe. But the same is true with sound. We do not hear certain frequency ranges, and it slightly varies depending on people and the individuals and their age and things like that. But essentially, humans, there's bits that just no humans hear because we haven't evolved to need it. But it doesn't mean we don't perceive it at all. There are other things going on there as well. Where did we get to there? And the Earth's light grid is the energetic crystalline matrix that holds the blueprint. Bloody chinchilla hairs everywhere. Sorry guys, I need to de-fluff. Hold on. Absolutely everywhere. Crystalline blueprint for planetary awakening there, woven through ley lines, sacred science, and collective consciousness beyond the physical. They showed me two paths of the future of our species that led to the same outcome in 500 years. And I go there for meetings that I don't remember, and I can track them through the electric field readers. So that is interesting. You bring it back into, well, you can actually measure that now. That is really interesting. That Andrew, I really like that one. So you say there was two paths, but we still end up in the same future in 500 years. What sort of future? Do you remember what it is? Is it a good one or a bad one there? And whatever scientists say is not true. They make it up for next year. They literally do. They literally do. I mean, we can't throw all science under the bus. I mean, look, we wouldn't be here with all this wonderful technology. All of the magical pills that I'm on that probably do nothing. You know, there is value to science, but it isn't a god. It isn't the be-all and end-all. It is a tool to be used when appropriate. And just because you work in the sciences, and you are a scientist and you occasionally do things scientifically, does not mean that you are scientific in everything you do. One of the funniest things that I have seen is Neil deGrasse Tyson going, "I don't believe I'm a scientist, I know." And it's going, well, you know fuck all then, don't you, Neil? Because belief is how we operate in the world. It is an essential tool. You cannot go about your day without believing. You can't know for sure scientifically everything. We don't have time to measure it all as individuals. You have to believe that you know, even if you believe in the science that somebody else is doing, you don't know that they're not lying to you about it there. Belief is such a useful tool there. So science themselves, they treat it religiously. And again, religion is something that we shouldn't throw fully away as well there, because how else do we navigate the unknown? We need some rough guide. But like all of these things, we can't take it as 100% the tool to use all of the time. And good night there, John. Good to see you in as always, but thank you for joining us there. And Andrew, I wouldn't talk about this stuff if I couldn't prove a bit of it there, and I had to convince myself first. I mean, this is, you know, sometimes the pinching yourself in a situation. I don't know how I would react fully with that. Because, I mean, I've had some spooky experiences that are, you know, there's no ambiguity around it. Either I was full on hallucinating visually and have never else ever done that, or this thing happened that broke physics. And, you know, it wasn't like a boo ghost, but it was, you know, things moving and stuff. And even now, I go, I don't know how to process it. You know, like I go, there's no either which way around this, but I can't fully kind of cross the line, you know, with it. I suppose that's partly why I'm compelled to kind of look for all of the strange stuff there. But in fact, it is all fascinating, isn't it, there? And it's neat to put some facts into deGrasse Tyson, so dangerous. Honestly, I would. He does so much damage. I think, like that. He's coming round now, isn't he? About, all this stuff, he's conveniently going, oh, actually, maybe there is something with the aliens. Look, scientists are right in the sense that science does evolve and adapt and come round to ideas, but it's nowhere near as efficient at doing that. And that's where the thing is. If it's taken you 50 years and you've wasted 50 years of our time and also 50 billion in budget in that period as well, when if you had just been more effective, you could have listened to the wider environment to come to the conclusion. That's not the fallback. That's not as good a system as you think it is, guys. And Andrew, that is very good future in 5. Okay, that's good. That's positive ones there. No matter what's there, a bad way to get there with much of our population intact, and a very bad path we are on, and a handful of people are making. Okay, not so good there, but at least overall, I mean, with the species there, these are things. It's like, we have to learn our lessons as a species, as we mentioned earlier about, they're just not going to come here and drop, the infinite energy device here because we haven't earned it. We would destroy ourselves with it, and there's a lot of things in this world there that we think we want it, but then there is the responsibility in being responsible enough for it. As a child, I desperately wanted a pet hamster, and my parents said, no, you cannot have said pet hamster, you won't clean the fucker out, you are lazy. And I whinged for weeks, and I got the pet hamster. And I didn't clean the pet hamster out. I wasn't ready for that responsibility. So, we have to, I got the cute hamster, but then I didn't meet up with the responsibility of doing things. Some parent ended up having to do it, and probably says a lot about me. But this is the thing, we need to earn our way through it, and the way that we do is by exactly what we're doing now, by the fighting that we have now, figuring out the best way to do it. And it's a shame we have to do it with such consequences and cost, and we could always lose that battle. It's never guaranteed that it is going to go smoothly and that we're going to win it overall, but it is the friction, the to and fro, getting it wrong, getting a bit less wrong. Okay, we're getting a little bit less wrong the other direction now, and it is that negotiation and building over time. I think the literal biblical definition of sin is being off target, and I love that because it makes so much more sense then, basically saying you are off target. And what do we do if I'm bow and arrows, right, and I've got my target in front of me and I go whatang like that? Of course it's going to be all the way off to the left there because I've never shot a bow and arrow before, so my natural reaction got right from 12 to the left. Let's move it to the right. And patang! Oh, I'm now too far to the right because I've overcompensated. Okay, back to the left a bit more. Patang! Still off to the left, but not as bad. And that is what we're doing with society. It's the to and fro, the pendulum that we're constantly talking about, with politics and the state of things. Now, we could always lose that battle, but I think it is an essential part of it. I don't think we're any further behind than a lot of other people there. And the science delusion is called. I think so. I think, this thing, we need a religious structure in our lives. Not saying any specific religion. Look, there's definitely bad things about them there. But we need an overarching guidance that applies low detail to a bit of everything. And that's kind of, doesn't tell you the specifics. It just gives you the rough overall rules. And us humans, we always abuse that and get it wrong and all that sort of shit. But, we need that overarching structure. And science doesn't provide that at all. It's specific. That's the nature of it. It's a scalpel. It's detailed, and it doesn't do the broad. So then the scientists are you looking for that broad rule, so they're getting it wrong there, and they make the religion of science there. And I'll share a video of the portal there, and I'll record it right now and say, oh, Andrew, 100% love that one. If you're on our Discord, bung it in the personal experiences section in there, because I know our community would 100% love to see that one. And also, it doesn't just disappear after the stream. Your record of it will be there for everybody to see, even if they've not been in tonight. So appreciate that one. And Peter, my heart sinks at the idea that people will travel to the galaxy. We are so murderous there. I see why we think this, but I think this is a cultural contagion right now. I think in the same way that we're going, right, we don't trust the government to turn us the truth with aliens. I think they've seeded this idea, probably not the government, more of a cultural thing, but that we are this awful plague on society. We do bad things, of course we do. We have to be very careful, and we need to do a lot better. But this narrative that we are just so awful and evil is just not good for us. It doesn't help us be any better there, and just kind of, it chops us off there. I mean, could you imagine talking to your kids like that if they do some things wrong? Even if they do some really bad things wrong, you go, oh, you're always evil. What complex are they going to get? How's that going to help them through that? And we need to treat ourselves like this. I think from the 60s there, you know, we had this horror. We looked at what we had done in the cold light of day, you know, after World War II there with the nuclear bombs, and we kind of went, oh my God, we're evil monsters, and we are capable of evil. We are capable of horrible things, but it's not all we are. And I think we need to kind of readjust how we do that. I think any aliens coming here are going to look at us and go, well, they're less advanced than us. And they're just going to look, as we look to the lions on the prairie, you know, we go, right, I might get bit, but I don't judge the lion. It's not an evil lion, you know, and there are animals out there that play with their food. You know, there are, you know, animals that kill for fun. You know, they're just working off of their emotions. You know, we've got a bit of intelligence, but we ain't got that much intelligence yet. We've got to learn to get there. I think they will definitely see us in that sort of more positive light. But maybe not. And the 10 Commandments are a good... See, this is the thing. Look, each religion has obviously... It's somebody's roll of the dice, isn't it? You know, and so it's not going to be 100% correct across the board. And then you've got the human interpretation of that. I mean, think of the human interpretation of sciences. We get some pretty dark shit with that, don't we? You know, so there's always the human interpretation that spoils something there. And, you know... I think we have to be honest about how these things work and what's going on with them, and then we can reincorporate things in a better one there. And proofread there. We are the animals. We are there, and 3 days away from cannibalism. These are the facts. But that is true. That is true. Like, we are still pretty animal. We like to think of ourselves as so superior and so much more conscious in our decision making, and not, but we're not. Most of our decision making is emotional, which comes from our programming, partly biological, but partly just from your life and your experiences. But it's unconscious. It's not the same as you're making these objective decisions all of the time and could be held fully responsible. I mean, you still have to be, as that's the way the world works, but it's not the same. We are very close to animals with these things, with it there. We are not as far advanced as we like, and in fact, a lot of the time, it's not us as individuals that has that level. It's actually our culture and our, you know, societies, societal structures that hold us in place. Literally, as you're saying, I mean, we go back to the old the lockdowns and stuff. You know, see how people were acting in supermarkets there under the first bit of pressure. You know, like, you know, these are people that are not together. It's society that was keeping them together because they didn't have to fight for anything there. So bang on with that one, Peter. Bang on. Right, I'm going to bounce back over to the TikToks. Let's see where I got to with you guys. Where did we get to? So Surrey there at Print Farm there. Only 40 minutes, not too far at all there, Print Farm. You could do a day trip there. Message you about camera. Awesome, Print Farm. Well, I will check that one out. Should get a chance after the stream. I don't think I'll go straight to bed there. And once you accept that, I can send you some questions. Scout, I will do that one in a second then, Print Farm. And Astro there, you are using Linux there, and how can you get the live stream in TikTok? Oh, so no, I'm not using Linux though. I'm using Windows for the streaming, sadly. Awful. Crossed between a Mac. I run this on 3 separate machines. The SETI that you're viewing now is on its own computer now. The stream is being run for its own computer there, and I've got the Windows for the Mac for the visuals that come in from the sky watching there. It's like mission control in here. There is actually a behind the scenes video over on the Patreon, free to see. It's public for our mission control, and it's been added to since then. I think the YouTube has one for members as well. We can't even see 3% inside the Kuiper belt there. I mean, and yet it's things like that, but yet we expect to see aliens if they're there. You know, there's a weird paradox, isn't it? That we're fully aware of our limitations in one respect, but yet in the other respect we go, well, we would have seen it if there was aliens there. You know, it's like, yeah, and user 570 there, how are you doing? Thank you for the follow. Good to have you in there. Exactly, user 68 there. And is Rio? I don't think Rio is in tonight, actually. And it was Alan moving that thing that day, and he was with you long before you met him. What? Alan? Oh, I thought you were talking about the ghost gate. No ghost in the house. It's Alan. And the paranormal is fascinating, and I think it's a lot to take in if you have the experience. It definitely is, because what it's doing is, if you've been brought up in the world, and it is as everybody says it is as the scientists say, it is as your teachers say, and you have an experience which in front of your eyes is counter that, you don't know where to put that. And depending on how different that is how much your view of the world is wrong. And that's can be very, very distressing to people. Have you ever, like, expressed a curiosity and an interest in something like this? Maybe it's a fact or something that's come about, and then somebody's had an aggressive response. That's because you're questioning how the world works to them. Not everybody's capable of holding the possibilities as mysteries and excitement. For them, that's fear and negative possibilities. They want to cling on to the system. No, it is what it is, and if it wasn't, it'd be fine because science would know, and all of that there. And Adam coming in with the shares there. And I can't even see that name, is so small there, but that's Kyle, how are you doing there? The shooting star the other day I saw made my wish come true. Scotland 110 there. Well, there we go. I'm glad we could provide that there. And Vamidu there. I hope the other worldly are as interesting as in us as we are of them. And I hope we are great with grace there. No hostilities. I hope so. I think there's no guarantee, is there, that, look, the universe is probably going to be as diverse and variable as life is here on Earth. There's going to be angry ones, there's going to be happy ones, there's going to be predator, there's going to be prey, there. But there may be the angle that to have, as we mentioned earlier, to have that energy to allow you to traverse these distances, your culture might actually have to be really bloody locked in. And I wouldn't necessarily say in a moral sense, but they'd all have to be very homogenized. They'd all have to be very similar, so there wouldn't be much infighting. So hopefully they would then agree. They wouldn't necessarily be aggressive, maybe. They might have advanced beyond that point. There, so maybe there is a chance that it'd be. Do I think that we would act responsibility at this time? Probably not. We know what we're like, but I don't think they would hold it against us too much there as well. And rather be a cosmonaut than an astronaut there. Oh, so why is that, Peter? Because I felt the Russians were a little bit, we'll send them up there. Doesn't matter if they come back down. Catch you later, Raf, there. We won't be on much longer soon there. And no worries, Kate. Catch you later. What is it? Are you and Raf logging off at the same time there, Kate? Ta-ta-ta. Catch you tomorrow there. And John, how you doing there? Nobody believes me, but I saw a UFO like 2 months ago over London. Oh yes, you mentioned it the other day. Yeah, what was the and it had a beam of light coming down, was it? Yeah. And fantastic sight, very rare. I mean, we hear about lights in the sky, we hear about certain craft shapes and all of this sort of stuff there. Yeah, Kate. Yeah, of course you did. But we don't hear about the beam and that sort of interaction there. That is very, very interesting. Do you know, could you tell roughly where that beam was? What could you deduce that craft may have been up to there? And the anti-influencer, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from tonight there? Can 100% change your understanding of the world with a 3-hour-long doc called Symbols of an Alien Sky. Is that on the old tubes? I'll try and check it one out there. Definitely, Peter, join the Discord, put it in the interesting things section there, then that way I won't forget about it. But the others are always interested in that sort of stuff there. Very, very open to that sort of stuff there. And it was a saucer shape, but it came from the bottom, and I didn't have my phone on me. I was taking the bins out. Honestly, even if you did, Fat John, when I've had those experiences myself, the videos I take are shit because you zoomed in and you're looking at the object and you forget to keep your eyes on it. So honest over there, but it looked up and it was like, the heck is that? Yeah, that's exactly the reaction there. What do you think it was doing? Like, do you know what it was scanning? Maybe. And Russian tech is way better than the American stuff there, which is built for making profits. I don't know. I mean, it is built for making profits, but the Russians were just like, where capitalism says we're going to take it as a shareholder, the Russians, it's just corruption. I mean, there's corruption on the US side, but the Russians were rife with it, weren't they? So I wouldn't trust it either which way. Although I suppose if the rocket did go bad, the Russians would have chopped your head off, though, so maybe there's the incentive to keep it safe. There. Where are we? Oh, we're nearly getting there. We're nearly getting to time, aren't we, guys? I had no idea, but it was like it was scanning the area. And also, normally in the night sky, the light would... Oh, I missed the other half of that. What do you think, Peter, of the old lost cosmonaut stuff? I know people say it might be faked, and it might be there, but there is something, there's a plausibility to that, isn't there? You know what the Russians are like. Drinking hairs from those bloody chinchillas. Lovely. Oh, the light would disappear, but it was so clear through the night sky, and the craft also had lights around the rims. A really classic style. Was the beam of light, was it just like a white light, or was there a coloration to it? Because I've heard that certain colours could mean certain things. Oh. Let's get rid of that. Sorry. Buttons coming up left, right and centre there. There's a white light, no colour. Oh, very, very interesting there. Oh, the Lost Cosmonauts, Peter. You've heard those? I'm sure you would have heard the recordings there. So some people think that it's fake. So the idea of this, guys, is that in the early days, like pre-Yuri Gagarin, pre-first man in space, there was, I think they were Italian, weren't they? Amateur radio listening people. And they reportedly picked up Russians in space, because obviously with radio you get the directions things, Russians in space, but like burning up on re-entry, overshooting and getting shot out there. So, you know, and they've got these really, really interesting recordings. They're quite harrowing to listen to, some of them. And you know, they claimed they were real recordings, you know, probably the Russians launching people up there. Well, but they didn't make it back, so they didn't announce it, you know. And it was Yuri Gagarin that made it back, apparently, first. And so then they said, oh, he's the first man in space, it was our first try. But, you know, there are these recordings that, you know, maybe are Russians, earlier Russians that have been sent up there. And again, people say it may be faked, but it's still very interesting to listen to, isn't it, there? Oh, it's total fake there. The Americans are literally the devil on earth there. Surprised you don't know that. Well, no. See, this is the thing, Peter. It's when you're taking sides. I don't like, you know, it's just the A's and the B's. Like, there's plenty of flaws with America, but there's plenty of flaws with everybody else, you know. Like, it just tends to be our own biases filtering out what we're seeing, you know. And somebody can be particularly worse at the minute than it can be to the next time, but it's no, it's not, though. It's not that, you know, this is the thing. There is so much shit that goes on, you know, but for everywhere. It's just we see a lot of that in the news. It's all about, well, remember, we're seeing things through filters. The stuff that the Russians get up to, the stuff that the Chinese get up to all of the time there. The Americans are quite bad because they're quite effective at it as well. But it's a human property. That's the thing. It's not exclusive to the Yanks. It's like, it's totally fine. Like, they do stupid shit, you know, but we all do with it there. But I mean, some of the horror stories that you just see here, there, and everywhere. Oh, I like, no, that one. And Auntie there as well there. You seem cool there. I'm glad you popped on for you, Peter. Oh, thank you. And thank you for joining us there. How do you feel about the alien stuff? You can be skeptical here. It's totally fine. But we're doing a live alien radio signal hunt. We go slightly off topic. But yeah, anything that's contextually related. But we're listening out for potential alien radio signals tonight, coming in from amongst the stars on what is the hydrogen line. It's the channel on the dial where scientists theorize that ET are out there. This is where they would most likely put the message, where the wow signal was heard. So that's what we're doing. We're just listening out, hoping to get a message from ET. And where are we? It was, what do you make of the whistleblowers and nuclear scientists all turning up on the Unalived there? I think it's very, very interesting there. I mean, definitely the whistleblowers, like David Grush, I think is there. He's one of the main ones there. But also, oh God, who is it? I used to say him all the time now. There was a presidential advisor to multiple presidents. He came out and said things on his deathbed, basically. Very, very credible. There's always room for human interpretation, or maybe some big game being played to trick them. I think it's very unlikely. But, you know, until it gets pushed over the line, it's so hard to say, isn't it? It's so hard to say. But I think it's interesting. The nuclear scientists as well. I don't think it'll be all of them, but I definitely think there is some shenanigans afoot with some of them there. And then back there, that was a long call there, Ben. You missed the aliens. I asked after you. And I take videos of them every night. Oh, Auntie, well in up our street here tonight. I love that. So, what's your best observation? And what do you think of them is, like, from your point of view? And again, it's all welcome here. It's a melting pot of ideas. It's how we all learn, isn't it there? Like, do you feel extraterrestrial? Do you feel dimensional here? Maybe there's the angels and demons from the past. You know, time is another angle on this I like, or all of the above, or is there something else? And do you reckon we will see full disclosure in our lifetime? Or there's no guarantee of it. I don't think there's any guarantee of it. But it does feel like we are on a course for a form of formal disclosure. So, like, I think it's quite possible, maybe even likely, that within a reasonable time frame that we will have official confirmation and acceptance of extraterrestrial life. We will probably have as well. I just don't know how far they'll go. I think the craft themselves are very difficult. And I think that's why we've seen a change of tact. I think the craft, you can always justify a national security reason to classify it. Because, as we mentioned before, energy, bomb. You know, technology, there's always a way for national interest to classify that. And I can almost understand it. You know, giving away any information around there could put you at a disadvantage. But the life forms themselves, I don't think there's a good angle. So I think that's what we could come out with first. So we might get like a real, we have this, you know, and then maybe there'll be some vagueness about craft or technology. But again, it's not just the extraterrestrial part of this. You know, they may not be coming from other planets. They may be coming from somewhere else in time. There is also the old, what is it? The plasmoids, one of my favourite. I think that's going to be a big part of the phenomena, which is the form of life, potentially sentient plasma life, that's been with us the whole time. And they're always active in the stream there when I'm not here. Is it you, Ben? Is that what it is? You're getting on the radio going, hello? I'll give you the fiver later there. And Michelle there, something is off there. It has been for a while. And there's a shift definitely happening. There really does seem to be something. And for a while, I was arguing, and I think it probably was true for a while, that, you know, it's more of an observation bias. You know, the more connected we are, the more devices we have to record these things and these platforms to share it, and the way that these platforms show us this information, we're probably seeing like an accurate representation of the phenomena, but we're just seeing more of it than we would have previously. So it feels like there's a lot more. But the last couple of months, it really feels like something's going on. It feels like there is something really active, you know, could be on the cusp of something there. And truly a lot of different types there. Governments, reverse engineering, yes, they're multidimensional orbs, etc. And I think the range of observations, it's got to be a multi-faceted answer, isn't it? I don't think it's just going to be one specific thing. And have you seen the videos of the psychics are saying that there will be some sort of aliens that will go? I haven't seen the videos, but I've heard people talking about it. It's interesting, but we'll know pretty soon, won't we? How do you guys feel on that one? Right, then bounce back over to the Tiki-Talks. No, the Tube. That's where I'm going there. And reality is nothing like we have been led to believe. And we are much more powerful beings than you can imagine. I've heard a few things on this one, but I totally think with the reality and what we've led to believe, because I don't think it's that we've necessarily been manipulated into or having that being suppressed. I think we've done it to ourselves. I think, again, as we mentioned earlier, not understanding science and how science works is that people go, oh, this is what it is, this is all it is, when really, no, this is our best get, and there's more to discover. And I think that has crippled us. We've started to not look elsewhere once we get some answers. But, you know, there may be some conscious manipulation involved there. And living like there, we also need disclosure of the covert space activities that have been taking place for a very long time regularly. I wasn't a fan of the secret space stuff, and I'm not fully on board with like a lot of activity up there unless we've got the reverse engineered craft. But I mean, when I saw the space shuttle had its backup pad on the other coast, on the west coast, at oh my god, what's the name of the place now? Anyway, Air Force Base over there, the Slick 6 pad it was, but full on space shuttle mock-up there. You know, you could have done quite a lot of activities there. Officially, they never launched from there, but I'm like, again, people don't know what's going on all of the time. Like, there is a lot of opportunities for this. You know, even now we don't know everything that comes in and out of our atmosphere. So back then there was definitely the opportunity for shenanigans there, the odd mission or two, there's something there. And I'm so, what's that? Oh, I'm 50 and I'm watching politics. A long time there, American have been so greedy that they have created a global hatred there in Russia and China and Iran. Immediately it said no to America phoned up and give your economy. So look, America is 100% doing that. I am not disputing that and those actions at all. Not at all. But they're also trying to do that thing for themselves. They're just not as successful at it there. But I mean, they're not innocent parties in this. This is human nature with this as well. Is that if America wasn't the top, then one of them would, and they'd be acting in their interest, in their way as well. America isn't unique. It's just they're the global power at the moment. That's all it is there, you know. Then none of them are historically any better, you know. And again, we're probably more likely to see the stuff that America does because we're so collected, and they're the larger one. Observation bias again. China's quite good at keeping its things secret, isn't it? And the Electric Universe is called the Thunderbolt Project. Oh, I'm a fan of the Electric Universe. Now that is interesting. Like honestly, when you look at like the idea of the Electric Universe and the accretion model that we currently. Yeah, the accretion model is what we currently think about planet formations and things like that versus the Electric Universe. I think there's something to it. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a massive paradigm shift on one of these fundamental ways that we believe the universe to be working there. And in order to experience this reality to the fullest there, we limit ourselves. But that is an interesting angle, there, Andrew. But we have to as well, don't we? So, are any of you guys into photography? Because you'll know if you've got a good professional camera there, you can take your images in something called RAW, which is basically every pixel is recorded there. Whereas if you're taking your photograph in something like a JPEG, what that's doing is it's compressing the image down. It's doing a lot of clever algorithmic guessing to go, if this pixel is this, then this one is probably going to be that, and therefore not having all of the pixels, all the colors of each pixel stored, so it makes a smaller file. But it does that for it to be manageable, and we do the same thing. That's how our brains work. We filter out things, or we filter things through what we expect to see. You know, not that we want to see necessarily, but what we expect to see. So we filter, you know, through we will literally sometimes not see things that are objectively there because our brain doesn't have the structure for it. It's actually insane how the mind works because it's always trying to save calories. You know, we are, you know, again, scarcity mindset. So it's always trying to save calories there. So that's the way, it's the space saving essentially that it's always trying to do. So yeah, it's like, you know, we filter out so much. There's no way that we see objective reality in any which way that we're doomed, quite possibly. Governments are all in it together there. And there's a couple of billionaires with God complexes who want a one world government for them to be in control. And all of the leaders are compromised. I mean, I think that's definitely trying to do that, and there are groups and organisations definitely out there trying to do that. But again, I also think that a lot of this isn't like within our control. Like a lot of it is just human behaviour. Like, and we can, this is the thing, we can choose, and we always should be working to improve things over time. So it's not about letting any of these missteps and things going off. But, you know, I think that they can sit in their big ivory towers around their boardrooms all they want, but then reality comes in at a certain point. You know, sometimes they have success, sometimes they don't. But human behaviour, like, again, we overestimate how intelligent we are a lot of the time and stuff there. Oh, and the Electric Universe makes NASA look stupid every time there they ask the questions. NASA's amazing. Honest, I would from what I've seen, be 100% on that. And Electric Brain Electric Universe, I totally overlooked there. And the governments want us dead there, distracted, exhausted and apathetic and divided. But they do. And also, but society kind of wants that as well, because this is the thing, like, you know, we can put the negative spin on it, and we can say we want factory workers that do their job, do not break the law, pay their taxes, don't think for themselves or anything like that, you know, because we want to keep them under control. But that's literally what society is. Society is groups of people following rules in order to improve their situation and manage things. That the actual separation between that and, you know, the way the dystopian view is it's a very, very fine line. But, you know, that we have to, like, if you're in on this stream tonight, guys, the chances are that you like a bit of mystery and you're capable of thinking outside of the lines. You know, you're not held in by those bounds, because the people that are, and I think it's the majority of people, they just wouldn't get this. They wouldn't be on their radar enough to be interested, to let alone fully try and understand here. But this is the thing, the majority of society kind of has to be that type of person, because that's efficient. That is efficient. That is how it all works. I don't really want my bus driver thinking too much about anything else. I want him to just go to work and do my bus. I want the factory line workers to do that. And if the majority of people probably were like us, society probably wouldn't run that efficiently. But we need people with this way of thinking as well. And that's what the elites or the government or whoever it is you want to call it, that's what they don't understand. They think that if everybody just followed the rules, it would all work wonderfully. What they don't get is that having people that think differently is the immune system to your society or your culture. Because even if your rules work wonderfully today, our environment changes, the weather changes, temperatures rise and falls there. You can't do the same thing indefinitely forever. It won't work. And if all people is doing is following the same rules, they don't know how to find the new rules. They don't know how to fix situations. So, we're the people, we're the immune system, for that, the people that come up with new ways of doing things. And that's what that type of person just doesn't get. And and conductivity is the key there. The atom is electric. I mean, I'm so in there, not smart enough to fully get it. But what I have watched a few things on it, and I'm really interested by it. But I mean, I'm not quite there yet. I have to watch it about 12 times before it fully sinks in there. And don't get me started on politics yet. No, well, this is the thing. We for the channel, we come away from specifics of politics. It's the overarching. What are the rules that apply to everything? Because I think that's where the conversation is. And look, I'm not necessarily right about anything, and I don't want you to come away with anything that I say, even if you agree with it, and go, because honestly I don't know. I'm just floating ideas that I don't hear other people talk about as much. And that's why, somebody will come in and say something, and I'll give a slight counterpoint to it, not to disprove it, but to get the conversation looking at all sides of it. That's the thing, ultimately I have no idea how right. I'm probably going to be a less than 1% right on whatever the objective truth about any of these things are. But I think what is important is having the conversation around it, because then more people, bigger a brain to people, we can put it to the community brain power to figure these things out. And it has happened a few times there. And it's our imagination, our focus, and our consciousness is the greatest force there. So that would really flip our materialistic world on its hand. But I think even the reductionist, the mainstream group are starting to just tease that going that direction, aren't they? And you're very slightly in the quantum world with observer effects, and so very slightly going down that one now. So as long as the channel agrees to go for politics there, no, so it's the overall rules. We ain't doing left or right. It's the overall. Where are we all stupid? Is my final one. And humanity is being led by evil, and the human race is under a spell, and generations and thousands of years of manipulation. So this is interesting, because there are various reports. There's good alien reports, there's bad alien reports. Now, and whose interpretation is going to be correct there? Or is it just one? Is there so different things at different times there? But maybe this is a politics there. Politics do run academia. This is the thing. It's systems of a certain scale. It's like, again, it's the physics of our existence, of not the physics. It's the physics of culture. There is, when an organization, and it can be any organization, gets to a certain scale, it becomes inefficient, to the square root. It's like an organization above 5 people drops its inefficiency by 80%. That's when you get meetings that could be emails and filling in reporting forms that are pointless, rather than doing the actual job. Efficiency tanks off. And we see this, I think, when things scale up, they become their own domain as well. So you see this with the stock markets as well. Initially, that was so people could invest in companies that they thought were good, and they were going to get a return on their money. It's a real direct relationship related to the nature of that business and how successful they thought it might be. But now it's a gamble. Now it's a lottery, the stock market. They're so far detached from what it was intended to do, fund businesses that you thought were good. But that's what happens when things scale up, and politics is the same. I don't think it's the domain of any one particular individual, party, country, culture. This is just an inherent part of scaled organizations. That is what I think anyway, and that's what I don't hear people talking about, because this is the if we think it's one particular group or organization, and we're wrong about that, and then but we are applying fixes to that one particular organization, then it's not going to solve the problem. And I feel like this is what we're doing as humanity, is we're learning, that particular group was bad, this particular thing went wrong here, but we're not looking at the overall principle of why we keep making the same mistake over and over again. So I think it's the rule that is important. Again, could be very, very wrong. But they do, and this is the thing. But how do we work with that? Because there is it's mass. Again, it ties into physics here. Mass attracts mass. It's if you've got money, you get more money. It's easier to get more money. If you have power, you can accrue more power. It's the same thing. So how can we break with that? Because if it, by default, that's what's going to happen. But again, in physics, the Earth may have a lot of mass there, and it's binding us gravitationally, but we can put in a lot of resources and make rockets to come off of the planet. So we can break out of it, but we have to choose the resources in the right area to make that decision. But I think by default, these are the paths that we tread, and why we keep treading them over and over and over again there. Oh no, they're going to watch Star Trek there, the Voyager. Trevor, thank you for joining us there. We won't be on long there. And the act of observation lays a waste to our logic. It does. All one needs to do is to keep asking questions, and one will be able to see through the illusion. I think that is it. Is how it starts to remember. Some people, they don't know how to ask questions. They don't. Our culture has taken that responsibility away, step by step, and now people, they have to be served up for these things. And I look at all sides, but I believe that this country is a place that is to tear there, and we need the aliens to come and take us to another place there. I mean, this is the thing, is that we are just going to keep making the mistakes. And I think if they take us away, we'll keep making the mistakes unless they govern us there. How do we learn from the things? Our original governments have a knowledge meant to evolve humanity, and instead they kept it for themselves and enslaved the rest of the human species. But they may have. I don't know if they do have it, if they would even understand it. Because this is a lot of the time, is we think that they know what they're doing. There may be a few people, but I really find it hard to believe. Maybe there are some super secret smart people behind the scenes, but I don't know. I'm always torn between, they can't organise a piss up in a brewery, but yet there's a massive conspiracy going on there. And the basis of science is maths, and maths is just having a given measurement similar to a musical notes. That's a very, I suppose that is true, isn't it? And maths is a music there, yeah. And have you ever seen John Conway's Game of Life there? Right, I'm going to bounce back over to the TikTok before we come off. Let's catch up with the chat with you guys there. Where are we? Down there. Exactly, Auntie, there. And telepathic communication, etc. Again, this is a part of the phenomena that I just wasn't aware of until this modern age of it. And I'm slowly getting my head around it a bit there, but it could well be there. We are the truth there. Jesus, how are we doing there? What are we listening to? So, if you have just joined us, guys, we are doing our live alien radio signal hunt. So this is all live radio signals coming in on a particular frequency. This is called the hydrogen line, and this is the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET's out there, this is where they'd put the message, where the wow signal is heard. So if I turn the music off and shut up, that is called the cosmic microwave background there. And scientists think this is the early universe there, just after the Big Bang we're hearing the sounds of there. But we're listening out for potential alien radio signals there, because it's too cloudy to get the camera out. So make sure you're following and subscribed, guys, because those clear nights, and hopefully maybe tomorrow, I don't know, I did check the weather. But next clear night, we'll be doing this, the UFO, UAP, Skywatch. We saw all sorts of weird and wonderful things in the night sky here. There, so yeah, follow and you get those notifications when we go live there. The awakening is transitioning. It could well be. It does feel like there's something in the air at the minute there. Jesus and Auntie coming in with the shares. I appreciate that there. And you've got two there. Love it. M to the C. How are we doing there? And universe. We are a universe of dust, but we are literally made of stars. I still want to have a meteorite in my connection that I can hold and handle, but we're no different. We were formed in early stars, those metals, the components within us there, if the current models are to be believed. And Adam there, good night there. We'll catch you later. Thank you for the gifts there. So we're going to be coming off in a second, and there, let's have a look. And the knowledge was written by other versions of the human race before us who have ascended to higher dimensions. I'm interested in this other versions of us because I don't know a lot about it, but it makes sense, doesn't it, that all of the beings that we see look a hell of a lot like us. And if humanity in that branch of that has been around for a very, very long time, there's been plenty of opportunities for variations and things there. And homogeneous and isotropic background there. I love it there. But, right, I'm going to wind us up for tonight there, because I've stayed on a little bit longer than I planned. But I've been having fun talking with you guys, learning some new things. So I hope we'll see you all later on in the week there. We are on every night with something, unless there's technical glitches. So to Wednesday night, broken cloud tomorrow, so we might get a Skywatch in tomorrow. Thursday's looking good, and Friday's looking good. And Saturday's looking good. Yeah, so we should be for more Skywatches, guys, there. But thank you. I do appreciate all your conversation, guys. I love it. It's a chance for us all to get a bit big-brained. It's the only way, isn't it, having the conversations and figuring out what could possibly be going on there. But thank you so much for participating, for sharing your knowledge, putting in your input there as well, sharing your experiences, and just hanging out and keeping me company tonight. There's Soul Cancer as well. Thank you for the follow there. So yeah, last chance to give us a subscribe or follow before we come off there and get those notifications when we go online. But thank you again, and we'll see you all tomorrow night. And I love having you guys in there, especially you, Peter. I love it as well. It's all interesting, isn't it? And you never know what you're going to learn there. I know how batshit crazy it sounds out all this, and I've had years of experiences and knowledge with beings from them all there. Well, Andrew, I'm going to end on this one, but to some people it's crazy. I'm at the point now where I know that I don't know, if that makes sense. Like, there are things I believe more and some that I believe less, but that's only because I've been made aware of more cases, or somebody's explained a structure to me more. Like, even things that, that is never be afraid of being crazy here as well. Because honestly, the world is weird. The world is strange there, isn't it there? Check there. I will have a look at there, Andrew, as well. Appreciate that one. And hit the like before we go. Thank you, Liberty. Appreciate that one there as well. And thank you, Living Light. It's good to have you guys in. But yeah, we're going to come off for now. But see you all tomorrow night. Bye-bye, guys.